What's up? What's up? What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the show. We about to get this thing started. Sorry I'm late, but you know it's CP Standard Time around here. CP Standard Time. Let me double check something, make sure everybody can hear me. Everything looking good. Let's get ready to go. Let's get it. Here we go.
Peace, folks. This is X from TPOT Media. Open your mind and wake your black ass up. You know what time it is. Hit that damn like button as you make your way in the door. Grab a seat, settle in, get ready. It's the Grown Man Hour with your host, my man, Bernard Riley.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Mumia Obsidian Ali. You know who I am. I need no introduction, right? And you're listening to the Grown Man Hour with my man Bernard Riley, heard weekdays right here on YouTube. What do you think about that? How about that? Now let's get back on with the show. Thank you.
All right. Yeah, I didn't make it back downstairs in time, apparently, but I'm here. I'm here, and we are ready to go. Got my shirt on all the way right. Ready to go. What is going on, everybody? I'd like to welcome everybody to the show today. Appreciate each and every one of you for making it on in. Shout out to the early bird squad, those that make it in bright and early before we even get things officially started in here. Omega Dreads gaming channel in the building. Shout out to you. Omega Dread says immortality, I guess. Aang A says, I asked the question, what do you want that I haven't given to someone else? That's a weird question. I think you understand what men generally want. The backstory with this question, at least the way I understood it, is taking place more in the context of a relationship, traditional relationships that women still low-key want. I shouldn't say low-key. Damn it, I forgot to play around with that. Women still want traditional relationships. They want a man to do the traditional thing. And they're saying that they could offer something that essentially amounts to something traditional to him. But the thing is, in many cases, women are showing up with children. What are you going to offer this man that you haven't given to somebody else? or as she's asked in her another question, you haven't given to a lesser man. You've given sex to random men. You've given, access to your body, access to your womb. Basically, everything he's getting from you is something that's been given to lesser men. But if he gives you marriage, full commitment, and access to everything and paperwork behind it, you're getting something from him in a modern context that he hasn't given to any woman. But what he's getting from you, you've ultimately given that already. It's an imbalance. It's an imbalance when, in an untraditional world, when women still want men to rise to the traditional occasion. So it kind of deals with that. It kind of deals with that aspect of it. Mr. Wick in the building. We want to get more into it. He says, I knew one of you wouldn't like the question. You want to have your fun, but want everyone else to stop only when you, woo, I love the way you worded that. Want everyone to stop only when you stop. Loyalty is the only thing she can give the better man. And the chance, well, I mean, she's probably giving loyalty to another man. And the chances of that is probably 10%. Probably. I hate when people do that. Probably. The word is probably. As soon as she get the better man, hypergamy will kick in and that loyalty will dissolve to continue the cycle. I think it's the case, and this speaks to the problem. I think it's the case that women, they do wake up and realize that hypergamy, finding a better man thing, sort of dissipates, when they get a little older. It's almost like they get boxed into a corner where it's really only one way out. They get boxed into that corner, and then they understand that, okay, the monkey branching might be over. But then what is their value at that time? That's what nobody ever said. I remember when Michael Blackson was on Fresh and Fit. And by the way, it's so crazy. The vehicle that their show is, even though, it was, they almost got brought down, but not really. They have Michael Blackson on their show. It don't get more views than when they just do their regular show. That's how you got a winning formula. That's why that's a machine that just cannot be taken down. They could have a friggin' celebrity in there, and it's just going to get less views than them just doing their regular show after hours with the girls. It just is what it is. There's no taking down that amazing machine that they got going on there. But shout out. Let me just shout out a few more people that made it in Brighton early while I dot a few I's and cross a few T's as we get things going. Make sure you hit the like button. If I did that, I don't even think I told y'all to hit the like button. I'm sure I hit it. I normally forget to hit my own like button, but make sure that y'all hit the like button while we get things going here. Make sure you do that. Make sure you do that. I see Nick Penn just came through hard and heavy on the super chat in. I see that. Appreciate you. Appreciate everybody who support the stream in any way that you support the stream. Appreciate each and every one of you. But let me shout out a few more people before I make it down there. Queen Q in the building. He says, in doing so, I have nothing that I can give the better man. The only way to avoid this is to basically marry the first man that I need or that my father picks for me. No, I think your husband, unless you had kids before you met him, your husband has exclusive access to your womb. You didn't show up with kids. That's really a key thing there. That's really a key thing there. So unless you already had kids before you got married, you can say that you've done that. You didn't show up a virgin, because that's a tall order today. I mean, I'll admit that's a lot to ask. That is a lot to ask. But you did show up with no kids. So if you offer exclusive access to your womb, you have essentially done that. Queen Q, she said, I bet none of your friends had their fathers pick their man. No, that's not even a thing. That's not even a thing. I've had some of my friends' families pick their husbands, but they are from other cultures. Okay, it's a thing out there. In America, it's not a thing. That's one thing I love about what Kevin Samuels is doing. A girl called into his show who was a virgin, and she still had a crazy, wild, wacky criteria, kind of. I barely listen. I didn't listen to every single word of it, but a virgin called into his show, and she came from a nuclear family, mother and father together, still together, if I understood it right. And she said, "Okay, why aren't your father?" I mean, he said, "Why isn't your father helping you with this?" You know, and what it came down to, and what it quite often comes down to, the father is going to pick some boring dude. So even this virgin, who was, she wasn't quite closing in on 30, I don't think. I can't exactly remember. Let's just say she was somewhere between 25 and 29. Her father should be no doubt putting men in front of her. I think she was 23. Yeah. And then it was like a foreign concept to her to go to her dad and do that. So even in those situations, those women, a lot of them, they just ride it out and float around and just do their own thing. They're not even accessing the dad that they have. Because the dad may very well put, I mean, she was 23, the dad may very well put some working, stable, boring 35-year-old guy in front of his daughter. Like, here it is. This is your husband. This is your stable situation. But nah, a lot of people don't look at it like that. Most of the conversation is back and forth between Nick Penn and Queen Q. Hope y'all got all that worked out and figured out. I'm looking at it in the chat, but shout out to Nick Penn in the building. Says, great topic, Bernard. Turn up. Yeah, and I can't take full credit for this. I don't know if Kevin Samuels or Donovan Sharp threw this out first. I don't know which one of them started it. I heard both of them talking about it. May have been Kevin Samuels, but no, I think it was Kevin Samuels. I think it was Kevin, and in fact, I'm 90% sure it was Kevin Samuels. But shout out to Nick Penn in the building with the $20 super chat. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. And also Queen Q. And Queen Q says she's speaking from a married woman's point of view, somebody who did it with a purpose. Says, when I met my husband, I was single with no kids. The son I have now is with my husband. Yeah. So you technically did that. You showed up in position to actually offer him something, to give him something that you had not given to any other man. You showed up in position to do that. And I'm sure what he's doing for you is what he's hasn't done, unless he was married prior to being with you. I'm sure he hasn't done this for any other woman. So that is a situation where it does play out like that. Absolutely. But shout out to Queen Q. Appreciate the super chat. She says, can Aang A turn into Becky? She ain't done that yet. What? Get out of here, Silent. Appreciate the $2 super chat. Appreciate the $2.
These last $2. I'm not gonna lose.
Appreciate the $2 super chat. But in general, what women want and expect men to do for them in traditional terms, what they want a man to do for them, it's a glaring imbalance. And men have always been okay with that. Like I said, men have always married for love, women looking at the contract. That's when I did my first video, when I responded to a lead attorney video, and he was breaking that down. In his years as a divorce attorney, there's so many men marrying for love, women actually looking at the contract and understand it's a contract. Men don't understand what the hell marriage is. They're doing it for love. They're doing it for so many other reasons. Women be looking at the contract, but women always fumble in these discussions when it comes time for them to fully lay out, so to speak, what it is that they offer a man. It's like they start fumbling and stuttering, and when Kevin Samuels asks them that, it's like they can't really answer the question because, well, I'm gonna play a video really quick that sort of illustrates the point. And I'm fumbling right now, and y'all seeing my confused face because I can't find, because I still haven't found what I'm looking for. What the hell? Give me a minute. Okay, here we go. That was a song for those of you that don't know. Still haven't found what I'm looking for. Give me 1 minute. Shout out to everybody in the building. Appreciate y'all for bearing with me while I pull this up. It is a difficult question. She said it's a difficult question to it's difficult to answer a question when people dismiss or say they don't need the stuff that you bring. Every man requires something different from a woman. That sometimes these questions are good eye catchers, but you got to break down the details because it can be an awkward question. But if we frame it in the context of traditional norms in a relationship or in a marriage, then we understand exactly where it could be a breakdown. But I can agree that it is a bit confusing. See, women are in an awkward situation, and I'm about to illustrate that really quick. Women are in an awkward situation where when they have to really try to quantify or measure what it is that they actually bring, what they expect from a man, ideally, and what they ideally are going to bring to a man in a modern context, when they've shown up, after, been around the block a few times and or got a bunch of kids or got some kids showing up with kids, it's an imbalance. And that I love this space. I love the manosphere because men are finally talking about it. I'm about to play a clip that illustrates it. Coach Ali's Corner in the building. He says, no commitment, just some Friday Eve. No comment. I'm thinking somebody just said commitment. No comment, just some Friday Eve tricking. Shout out to Bernard in chat. Shout out to Coach Ali in the building. This show is called 8 at the Table. I actually love this show. I don't love everybody that's on this show because some of the women be ratchet as hell, but I like what they doing. I like the setup. I like the professional. I like that somebody just went on YouTube and made something look TV professional. I mean, like when I be telling y'all big things coming down the line, give me a couple months. That it's gonna be. I'm gonna be on that ish right there. I'm gonna be on that ish right there. But see, here's the deal. I want y'all to listen to this conversation. And what I want y'all to listen for is look how she, with a lot of confidence, is explaining the whole, what she offers a man. And it doesn't add up. And it does speak to that, other than the whole aspect of just children, it's a we want you, we don't need you type of situation that men are in with this modern dating and mating world. I'm just gonna roll and we don't see y'all see what I mean.
I would say okay, but if you literally take it there and you disrespect me, you do something disrespectful, you're asking for that wrath. You're asking for that heat. Okay. So you shouldn't feel a certain way.
Wait, I didn't even hear this part. I don't got exactly at the part that I wanted to be on.
I disrespect you. You already know
money and hypothetically speaking, like paying for more things within the household, naturally, like the man's masculinity is going to be threatened. So when he kind of like talks sideways to the woman who's basically the one paying the bills because she's making put.
One thing, like, there's a difference between a woman making more and paying. So
fair use, fair use, fair use, fair use. Turn that off. All right, fair use. I think we've arrived at the location. I think we've arrived at the location. Queen Q says, well, this goes back to a point that I made when men say they want traditional wives and they get upset when I say traditional wives don't build, they just support. Who gets upset when you say traditional wives don't build? They just support. What man will get upset with support? I don't know. That's a weird statement. I've never seen a guy get mad at a woman saying she don't build, she supports. Yeah, I mean, the first guy who responded to that said traditional wives are not supposed to build. Yeah, I don't know what your reference is on that one. Yeah, Hell Boogie said, no man. No man get mad because somebody, a traditional wife, says she don't build, she support. I mean, it's funny that you're saying that because if I understand your story right, you essentially were that. You were a stay-at-home wife, and I think you had started getting kind of bored, and your husband basically just fronted the money, a business around one of your passions, and now you work that business, but in this way, you essentially working for him. So in a way, you're sort of, supporting and building, but it's his money behind it. But your dream and your passion, and that's ideally what I mean. Hell, Kevin Samuels talk about that. A man of higher value, his woman end up working for him, or working for them, so to speak. I mean, you're the embodiment of this. Like, you don't have to defend the you can be on our side with this one. I mean, you are the embodiment of exactly what we're saying. I mean, you showed up with no kids, you married a man, you're a traditional stay-at-home wife, and you're only working in the sense that you're working to build y'all business, y'all legacy, y'all, it's like you doing it. You the shit. Like, I don't like, yeah. So yeah, no, you got it figured out. You got it right. And if I understand it right, you didn't turn down that marriage proposal at 22, like so many of them. You cashed out early. You didn't need no hot girl summers. You saw an upright guy who was working, had a job, had a career, making some decent money. He wanted to marry you. You said yes, and you live in the life that from our perspective, that we think women ought to be living. But anyway, shout out to Game Changer, that if she is supporting your building, no problem. Captain Cisco in the building says the wedding dress is white because it's supposed to represent purity. The bride is supposed to be a virgin. Yeah, that's a wrap. That's a wrap. That one we've that ain't happening. That ain't happening. All right. The white flag has been waved on that. What men are typically asking for, I think men who are being sensible in these conversations, what they are asking is ultimately show up with no kids, in fairly decent shape, and act like you got some damn sense. That being a virgin, that's a bit much to ask. Show up in fairly decent shape. Don't wait until you're 38 and be like, all right, I'm ready. No. At a somewhat young age, give or take the man. And by young, I'm talking in the 20s. a give or take demand, you know. Kevin and Sales was on the show recently, and he was like, it was mentioned that, you know, men should be marrying 25-year-old women. He said even younger. I say, nah, come on now. It depends. I mean, it varies. It depends. I like what Elijah Muhammad said. It made sense, you know, half your age plus 7, even though I'm no Muslim, and I think the Nation of Islam be on some bull in some ways, but I'm not getting into that. But but yeah, half your age plus 7. That means if you're 40, you know, then that's 20 plus 7, 27. If you're 30, that's 15 plus 7, 22. You know, that makes sense. That puts the man in a position where, you know, he's lived more life, he's more experienced, he's worked more, he should be smarter and should be wiser, should be making more money, should be in a position to actually lead, and she should be willing to follow in that situation. Like that makes sense. That makes sense. And those numbers work out no matter how you slice it. You know, if the guy is okay, y'all gonna see me mess up some math, so I ain't even I was about to do some bad math because I was gonna take an odd number like 35 and then cut it in half to 17 and a half plus 7. Okay, you know, but we get it though. We get it. But no, the whole no showing up a version, no. That's it would take a natural disaster. The world would have to change. And shout out to Angry Man. It would literally take an act of God to flip things around that much to where women were showing up virgins on their wedding days again. That ain't happening. We can dead that one. We can dead that one, but showing up with no kids. That's not asking a lot. He says I'm 35, help me out. So 35, well, let's just say 18. Let's just put the woman at 18, then plus 7, that would be 25. I think 35 and 25 is a decent relationship. I think 40 and 30 is decent as well, but that's just, you know, that's just me. That's just, so I look at it, and granted, it's going to vary, but I'm talking about traditional people, both of them, no kids, looking to start a family. When it comes to stuff like that, and then, you know, the question is does become relevant. But all right, let me roll this. And I'm still dotting I's and crossing T's. All right, let's go. Shout out to everybody in the building. Hit the like button. We got we only got 76 likes. That's horrible. 193 in the building, only 76 likes. Hit the like button.
Like, y'all got this one thing. Like, there's a difference between a woman making more and a woman paying bills. Right? Because I can pay the bills for everything, and she makes more money than me.
Now, I'm about to say, like,
so if I make $80,000-$90,000 a year, and that roof that you live under is under my name, and everything that goes on is under my name, and I'm the one paying it, but you make 110, you still can't say much to me.
Well, yeah, but there still has to be some form of mutual investment.
Here's my question for you guys.
The thing about it is, and he makes a great point, because if I make 60 and you make 80, and we live in an apartment that's, just say $1,800, say $2,000 a month, right? So if you're not paying the rent, I'm the person that's paying the rent. You might be paying a light bill, but and at the end of the day, if I'm paying the rent, you saved what? That's $24,000 a year. So how are you going to disrespect me? You won't even be saving goddamn $24,000 a year.
You're right. And Amanda alluded to that. She's saying
yeah, okay, what they're talking about is interesting, but it's not at the part where I wanted to talk about, and I think I botched it by not time stamping it exactly. So bear with me. All right, I think it's coming up. I'm gonna roll it.
If you make less, okay, cool. But if you make less, you still can't take care of the basic necessities in this relationship or in our house. That's the problem. If you make less and you fail to monetize a skill that you have that financially benefits our household, that's a problem. Okay, cool. You make 60, but you're also an electrician. That brings in 40,000 extra in our house a year. That means all the lights.
Real quick. Appreciate that, Ed. There's Bernard Riley. Shout out for almost getting 8K subs. If you're not subscribed, then you should be subscribed by now. Absolutely. It's like I went from 5,000 subs to 7,000 subs real fast, but I've been stuck at 7 for a while. It's been a slow crawl to 8. So yeah, it's been so. I do want to see. I do want to see that 8,000 subs, that ticker change. So if you're not subscribed, please feel obliged to subscribe. Appreciate you, Ed, for acknowledging that. Appreciate you. Yeah, like, what did you talk about? I ain't even listening yet. I'm trying to find where I was, the part that I did want to talk about.
The ceiling fans, all the shit electrically based or whatever, you take care of it. So that's monetizing what your skill is. So it adds to our household.
That's called providing. And I want to make sure that y'all understand that men provide in more than just a financial way. And that's my problem, because if I sit here and ask, okay, cool, if I pay every bill in this house, right, and I fix everything in this house because I'm an electrician, what are you bringing to the table as a woman? What do you realistically do other than have sex?
Oh, you asking me?
I'm asking like
Okay,
personally.
so are you asking her that as a woman that makes more?
I'm just asking.
I'm gonna let you know.
What are you bringing? Actually, and every lady here, I want to know, what are you bringing to the table for the man that takes care of you?
Here we go. And take.
All right. Said I bet she a Democrat. Now, that's the question. Now, in a traditional context, before we know exactly what that was. In many cases, she was showing up a virgin, like somebody like a Captain Cisco alluded to. That's done, and I don't even expect that. And we will be illogical to expect that, given the environment. Also, given that we like casual sex too, so I mean, so it is what it is on that one. But the fact of the matter is, most women still want men to be the traditional man that he described and still pay for everything. Now, what I want y'all to listen to is how she, with all the cockiness, confidence, and arrogance, said, "Oh, hold on, I can let you know." But then watch when she itemizes it. It's not going to be much. It's not going to be much. Because the whole concept of exclusive access to the womb is something that's taken off the table.
I'm just asking. What are you bringing? Actually, and every lady here, I want to know, what are you bringing to the table for the man that takes care of you?
Here we go. And take notes. So what I do is I make that house that you pay for, that you pay that mortgage for, I make it at home. I cook the meals. I'm washing clothes.
That's $100 a week.
Don't play with me.
I can get it made.
No. You see that? And see, that's where you're going wrong. It costs more than $100 a week to have somebody cook for you, to have somebody clean up after you. Because a lot of times you men become our children. All right, we dress y'all.
Let's. She said a lot of times you men become our children. She's talking about a man who's taking care of her and paying 100% of the bills in this scenario that they set up. But even while he's giving you full free room and board, she still can fix her mouth to say that y'all become our children. Okay, you picking up socks off the bathroom floor. He is 100% funding your life, but you can fix your mouth to say that he's become a child. Let that sink in. let that one sink in.
You to have somebody clean up after you, because a lot of times you men become our children. All right. We dress y'all. We pick out y'all clothes. We cook for y'all. We wash y'all's clothes. We clean up behind y'all. When y'all
Now she repeating herself because she realized she didn't have that many different things to say.
leave your little piss
Aaron,
on the
that's
floor.
what you're a good woman, and that's what you do. But let's be clear here. It's a lot of.
We're talking about me.
I own a barbershop.
We're talking about me.
I got you, but you saying we. Speak for yourself. Because I work in a barbershop, right? I own my own shop. The men complain that it started off that way, but then they start slacking. They don't do what they don't keep up with that same type of energy, but they expect the man to keep that same energy of continue on providing in that aspect. So I'm hearing the complaints. So you can speak for yourself, but a lot of women say, I don't want to cook.
But I
they
keep
want you to
saying that.
provide, but they don't want to cook.
I keep saying that. We talking about Aaron.
That's why I like this show. It's like the men on this show, sometimes they will get on some bull, kinda, but a lot of times they do keep it real and will spit facts. In any show where men are standing up for themselves and saying what need to be said, how it need to be said, unapologetically, I'm all for it. That's why I support this show, even though it be a lot of ratchetry going on this show. Even though a lot of chicks on this show be annoying as hell, but either way. I love what he said there. I love what he pointed out there. That everything that she's trumping up that they do. Reality is, in this modern time, there's a lot of women who, even when they're in that traditional situation, they still fall back and don't exactly be doing it. Shout out to who we got in the building. Mr. Shane Vigil says Molly Maid and Mary Maids are a better deal. I don't know what Molly Maids and Mary Maids are. A lot of dudes be talking about that, just hiring a little service. How much it costs to have somebody come clean up your house for, twice a week? And it can get a little costly if you ordering in food every day. But everything is so fast, quick, easy. A man can outsource. I mean, homeboy about to break it down, but everything that a woman can do, a man can essentially outsource that. So it does turn into a situation of, okay, you're showing up with somebody's kids. It's a situation where we don't need you, but we want you. that's what it really turns into. But shout out to Mr. Shane Vicious. Appreciate you coming through with
these last $2. I'm not gonna lose.
Also, oh wait, he said give her 150 smash and be done with her. Which one you talking about? You talking about maid services or hiring? No, let's stop it. I vow we will not talk about tricking on this show for a month. Mark the calendar. It's September 9th. On October 9th, we can talk about tricking again. We are done. You niggas will not drag me back. He says, Corey DeMarcus Draper says, good old bait and switch. Oh, yeah. He said, I haven't found that hooker maid yet. See, you want a hooker to come clean up your house and cook. I mean, well, okay, if you're going to be paying for sex, see, now you're going to be talking about tricking. You'll be paying for sex, paying somebody to clean up your house, and paying for food to be brought in, delivered in, or you go pick it up. It probably would be cheaper if you can find one chick to do all of it. To basically, you just pay her upfront fee. She cook or bring the food, clean up, and have sex with you. It's like you putting it all in one. Like, it'll be cheap instead of paying for it 3 different ways. Make it like the charter or progressive, like the bundle package. if you can get like get a chick to do like the bundle package deal and do all of that, so you ain't outsourcing it from 3 different places. But then you might as well just be in a relationship. If you got the chick coming in, she doing maid services and she having sex with you, and you paying her for all of it, then by all means, then it might as well just be your woman at that point. Unless you can get a really good bundle package deal on all that. Captain Cisco in the building says, I think it means virginity. We can't even get women to realize bring another man kids is problematic. Yeah, no, that's what they've been told, that it's okay, that men without children should be open, willing, ready, and accepting of women with children. I saw Steve Harvey talking about one day, you're exactly what that boy needs. You exactly what he needs in his life. Yeah. Yeah. That's what's expected. That's what's expected. But shout out to the Sphere. Brothers standing up, especially brothers who the Mac the Trucker with me. He said the personal pleasure package $2.99. Yeah, man. I don't think y'all was with me on that. If you dudes talking about they can pay for their own, they can pay somebody to come clean up. They can pay to have food delivered, and they tricking. Okay, if you get all that in one chick, deliver the food, clean up your house, and you pay her and have sex with you, all paid for. I mean, it gotta be cheaper if you can get it all with one person, the bundle package. But anyway, all right, we're gonna leave that one alone. Yeah, you did make me talk about tricking. All right, so now we talked about it today, so I mean, I gotta, starting tomorrow, September 10th, is when the clock starts, and I can't talk about tricking until October 10th. All right. Any comments or super chats on tricking will be ignored going forward until October 10th. All right. E Taylor 704 in the building says, good example. I'm a union electrician contractor. I'm almost 20 years. No, I'm almost 20 years. I don't know if you're saying you're 20 years old, if you've been doing, I think you're saying you've been doing it for 20 years. I'm going to assume that. Only heard black women have that funky attitude about hard work, good earning men. Good, right? Yeah. Cut it out. We're not talking about that. All right, back on to the show. Back on to the video.
Aaron Campbell.
Okay.
About Aaron Campbell.
So don't provide, but they don't want to cook.
I keep saying that. We're talking about Aaron Campbell.
Okay.
About Aaron Campbell.
So don't say we then.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
I was talking for a long time, so just in case y'all missed it, she was saying what we do, what women do, and then he was breaking down how no, most women don't do that. Most guys, because he said he owns barbershops, so he sit there and talk to men, and most of them explain that, yeah, even when you're doing everything for them, paying all the bills and doing all the stuff, and then ultimately what ends up happening is that they start slacking on all that stuff that she's saying that women do, but now she's trying to cop a plea and backstep and say, no, I'm talking about me. I'm talking about Aaron Campbell. I guess that's her name. I'm talking about me and what I do. And then he rightfully said, okay, well then don't say we. I love when men win the argument. I just love it. I just love it.
That same energy of continue on providing in that aspect. So I'm hearing the complaints. So you can speak for yourself, but a lot of women say, I don't want to cook.
But I keep saying that.
But they don't want to cook.
I keep saying that. We're talking about Aaron Campbell.
Okay.
About Aaron Campbell.
So don't say we then.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's backtrack. I make a house a home. All the furniture you get to come home and lay up on, I pick that shit out. You know what I'm saying? When the paper towels go away in the bathroom, you know who goes to the store to get them? You know who gets on Amazon to get that? All the shit that you don't even think about that makes your life easier, I do that. You
Hey,
understand?
Then you worked it
hold
then.
on. Let me ask you a question, right? Everything that you're telling me can be bought. Guess what? I can have an assistant order me paper towels and toilet paper and groceries on Amazon. Actually, I get Whole Foods delivered to my house weekly. It's a subscription. I get meal preps every week. My meal preps is $120 and I get 3 meals a day. I make myself my own breakfast. That's 4 square meals. I have another cleaning lady. She charges me $100 a week to come clean. You are only saving me $600.
After she talked about everything that she did, that she could do, that she'd do for him, and she described it as he's her kid by her doing those things. She's going to restock the toilet paper and color coordinate the towels in the bathroom. He basically just broke it down that you're saving me $600. Now, whatever he got going with that Nutrisystem or whatever, with $100 a month, they send 3 meals a day to him. I need to get on that. I truthfully need to get on that. I mean, $100 a week, $120 a week. Yeah, I need to get on that. But he said he make his own breakfast. He make his own breakfast in the morning, and then he used the Nutrisystem or whatever it is for the other 3 meals. I need to get on that. But see, here's the problem. This is what women are not understanding. If you have a guy who's doing that traditional shit for you, stuff. If you have a guy who's doing that for you, the idea, the notion isn't for you to try to figure out a way to measure arms with him, to try to say, oh, well, I do this and that adds up to this and that's equal to this and that's equal to that. No. The correct response is to say, damn, even in this traditional concept, I mean, traditional context, where one, I'm not showing up young, hot, sexy in my early 20s with no kids, and you offering all that in the name of love and family. No. You're doing that for, you're doing, if you're doing this traditional stuff for a woman who's lived a non-traditional life up into you meeting her response shouldn't be, and women's response shouldn't be, to try to figure out a way to equalize what they do. Okay, he's working, he paying 100% of the bills, he's taking care of everything in a traditional context, and that's how he's operating. What women need to realize is that no, you don't try to equate in this modern time and modern context where it's easier to clean a house, even though some people slack off and still don't get the job done. But it's easier to clean the house with all the modern technology and everything. It's easier to do all the stuff taking care of a home. It's easier. And even when she was naming everything that she do, she kept repeating herself, because she said, I'm cook, I'm going to clean, I'm going to clean, and I'm going to prepare the meals, and I'm going to wash the clothes, which is part of cleaning, and do the laundry, and I'm going to cook, I'm going to clean. Like that's how she was talking. No, the correct response is to say, wow, I've lived a non-traditional life my whole life, and this man is showing up and even considering treating me traditional. I need to bow down. I need to drop to my knees. I need to worship the ground this man walk on, because what he's doing for me, I can't match it. That should be their response. What he's doing for me, being the traditional man that I want him to be, he's doing something for me that I can't match it right now. I'm 35. I got another man, kids with me. I can't match this. It's not enough restocking the tissue and color coordinating the towels and making sure the blinds match the drape, and it's not enough of that that's going to equate what he's doing for me. I need to bow down and worship the ground, worship the ground this man walks on, because he's going above and beyond in this modern non-traditional world, this deregulated mating market where women are free to do what they want and have sex with who they want, when they want, how they want, and then show up however, and still be expecting men to operate like that. And some men do it. Now, shout out to the manosphere. The manosphere says these are one or two things. Either you shouldn't do it, or you shouldn't do it for certain types of women. There's different camps in the manosphere. Some camps in the manosphere says, oh no, you still could do it, but she has to meet certain criteria and standards. I'm more so in that camp right there. There's certain criteria and certain standards she must meet in order for you to comfortably to do anything that resembles traditional roles. That's where I'm at with it. But the guys who just say hell no, no dice, no deal, no, I can't tell them they wrong. I cannot tell them they wrong. Nick Penn in the building. He says, I want the Thought Premium package. I want my box with free shipping. Shout out to you. And because you said that, and there y'all go still talking about tricking. See, I know what it is. I should have never started playing this clip.
What do we get for $10? Everything you want. Everything? Everything.
I should have never started playing that clip. Even that I should have never started playing that clip, even though it's funny as hell. Everything you want. It's funny as hell, but y'all just done turned my channel into the tricking network. Mr. Shane Vicious says you can outsource all of that, not deal with the BS. Making sure. Terrence B, I saw you sent a super chat. Shout out to you. I can't find it. Yeah, it was just a super sticker. You ain't say nothing, but shout out to you. Appreciate that. And I'm pretty sure my man D-Rock Den. As per usual, sent a customary $5 cash app per day. Appreciate that, brother. Always coming through. Shout out to you. Didn't make a comment. See, I don't even be reading your comments because you do leave a comment in the cash app. I always forget to read it. I was about to read it this time, and then you finally didn't leave one. But shout out to you, man. Appreciate you. All right, let's go.
In a nutshell,
Maybe you
$600 to $800. Perhaps it's $120, and I get
Let me
3
back up
paper towels and toilet paper. And
that all the shit that you don't even think about that makes your life easier. I do that. You understand?
Hold on. Let me ask you a question, right? Everything that you're telling me can be bought. Guess what? I can have an assistant order me paper towels and toilet paper and groceries on Amazon. Actually, I get Whole Foods delivered to my house weekly. It's a subscription. I get meal preps every week. My meal preps is $120, and I get 3 meals a day. I make myself my own breakfast. That's 4 square meals. I have another cleaning lady. She charges me $100 a week to come clean. You are only saving me $600. In a nutshell,
maybe you
$600 to $800. But what I'm saying,
maybe I live in a 5,000 square foot
regardless,
home. I'm managing
your
that
services can be paid for. So what are you bringing outside? Listen, if you ask a man, what is he bringing to the table? I'm bringing a house to the table
that I can also pay for myself.
Okay, but you're not.
But I can.
But you're not.
But I can.
But you're not, and you're not willing to.
That's the point. I was taking care of myself before I was married.
And then you got married and stopped.
All right. he's still getting her right there because she's like, I can pay for that too. He said, yeah, but you're not going to do it. Or even the women that do it, they don't feel comfortable doing it. They got a problem with doing it. And I understand that because, I mean, hell, they women. Don't no women want to be taking care of a man. I get it. That's nature. It is what it is on that. So you don't say I can do it, but when you do it, yeah, you're gonna do it with an attitude, and it's gonna be a dysfunctional relationship that more than likely ain't gonna last. It's not gonna be a relationship that you respect in most cases when you do it. I mean, there are some cases where a woman could do that and things could work out. It depends on the two people, their views, values, temperament, and ideologies, and all kind of other moving parts. But in general, generally speaking, a woman not going to be happy doing that. She want a man to do that. So it becomes just shout out to JB, a nothing burger. I hate that he said that, but it becomes a nothing burger for her to say, but I can do it. And he's rightfully saying, but you're not. But you're not. You're not going to do it. You don't want to do it. Yes, you pay. Yeah, I mean, okay, you're able-bodied working adult. You can pay for bills and live by yourself. And that's the area where, if they really want to be some I don't want to call them, no, trying not to be cussing. But if they really just want to be real flippant in this, they could flip it around and say, oh, we don't need y'all either. We can outsource y'all too. We make our little money in an air-conditioned cubicle somewhere. We make enough to get by to pay some bills. We can order in some penis. We could order in. We can have that orbiting guy in the friend zone come by and replace the cabinets or fix the doorknob and do that stuff. We don't need you either. We could be single and free and do. But then they gotta plead guilty to just starting it up in hot girl summer and it all the way up into 35 to 40. That they don't realize that that's what they're pleading guilty to when they make that argument. They don't realize they're pleading guilty. That they don't realize when they do that they're pleading guilty to the reason why they don't deserve that traditional relationship that they all want. They don't realize that, but they can make that argument because the world was set up just so to where a woman can function and survive by herself. The Western world is set up that way. It's fairly safe, You can pay for your place. You can have your locks on your doors, security system. You can buy a gun and cross your fingers and hope don't nobody try to come through the window at night. And in most cases, somebody won't. So, yeah, they can make that argument. And they quite often do make that argument. When they do make that argument, then they realize that, they're essentially pleading guilty to actively, consciously making choices that results in them being into their late 30s, going into their 40s with a couple kids and now wanting some decent dude who didn't mess his life up to come take care of it and clean it up. So when they make that counter argument that they can logically make, there's internal logic in that argument, they're pleading guilty to a worser charge. That they don't realize that that's what they're doing.
I can also pay for myself.
Okay, but you're not.
But I can.
But you're not.
But I can.
But you're not, and you're not willing to.
I am willing to. I was taking care of myself before I was married.
And then you got married and stopped taking care of yourself. I have multiple
mortgages. I still take care of shit. That's the thing.
Listen, I'm not saying you can't make money. What I'm saying is what you're bringing to this table is a service that can be paid for versus what a man has to bring to the table for your life. You can't buy somebody to buy you a home. I could buy somebody to cook and clean for my house. I can't buy a person to come give me a house, give me a car, take care of me, and make sure all my bills
but I
in the house
and do that. That's what he.
Pre-manosphere, I don't think he would have made that argument. The manosphere is like thought leaders for men in general in this cyber world. If this show existed 10 years ago, I guarantee them dudes would not be making that argument. I'm not saying they would be full-blown getting a Derek Jackson on, but I do believe that they wouldn't be spitting like that. I don't believe they would be spitting like that if it wasn't for this space. That's why I say a lot of people could not like Kevin Samuels for whatever reason. They could not like Fresh and Fit for the many different reasons. It is what it is. When platforms grow and get that big and the world start hearing men speak like the way that he's speaking right there, when more men get inceptioned with those ideas, then that means more men are being stronger and standing on a square and thinking logically and thinking rationally in these situations. That means more men are not going to more men not going to be putting up with no BS. More men are going to be stronger and standing on their square. And when men are strong, everybody wins. The women don't know it, but when men are strong and standing on their square, they actually, in the long run, end up winning. The children end up winning. Everybody win when men are thinking straight. Everybody. And his brother is thinking correctly there. He has a correct understanding to where if he does all that for a woman, what he's talking about, he understands the exact value that he's bringing her. Understands it quite well. And understands that he's in a position to expect and require more than her to just give him occasional pussy and a bad attitude. Shout out to everybody supporting the stream right now. If you're in the building and you haven't hit the like button, make sure you go ahead and hit that like button. Appreciate everybody who contributes to the show via super chat. And speaking of that, we got Ephraim McKenzie in the building. Says, Bernard, that's not fair. That's one mouth away from no nut November. What? That's not fair. That's one mouth away from no nut November. The tricking spirit must be released out of our system. Oh, you talking about I'm not talking about tricking for a month starting tomorrow? Because y'all made me talk about it today. So starting tomorrow, September 10th, we must go to October 10th without talking about tricking. And I see the struggle. See the struggle. If y'all can't talk about tricking heading into No Nut November, that's okay. Wait, hold on, time out. Why the hell are you celebrating No Nut November? Why the hell are you doing that? I've done multiple streams where I've let people come on. Shout out to Solo TV 84. He does I think periodically in increments do the NoFap thing. He says there's some benefits to it. I heard him out. Shout out to Coach Ali's Corner. Coach Hassani Ali, shout out to him. He's done the NoFap thing. So shout out to everybody who has done that. And to that NoFap shit, I say no. No. Ain't happening over here. I bust nuts. I get some off. By hook or crook. In the words of the great philosopher Shrek, better out than in. But he wasn't talking about nothing. But I am. Better out than in. I don't. They say there's some benefits for holding it in. That's what they say. That's what they say. That's what they tell me. I haven't heard anybody really confirm it scientifically. They just said, hey, I did it and it worked and I had more energy and more testosterone. My workout was better and my, I got more blood flow. But what difference does it make to have more blood flow to your Johnson if you're not using your Johnson? But I ain't going with the no fap, no nut November, no damn all that. Y'all tripping. But if it works for you, go ahead. I'm an open-minded guy when it comes to men figuring out what works for them. If it works for you and you're happy with your results and your outcomes, I will support you from afar. Wiley D in the building with the $5 super chat. He says the only way a woman gets a high value man is to get him when he was young, naive, and before he was high value. Otherwise, she's a gold digger. I disagree. I disagree because there's nothing wrong with if a man is banking and he got that money and a woman show up meeting his requirements and she qualifies for a successful high status man, then by all means, that is what it is. But that man should still understand that he's still technically offering her more value. But either way it go, that's still a no. I can't call a woman. See, we got to get out of that shit. All right, you can't call a woman a gold digger if she wants a high earning man who's a good provider. That's not a gold digger. I put them in the gold digger lane if they're just looking for quick short term turnaround with it, you know. And again, that flies in the face of what y'all talk about with tricking. But either way, I don't know. I mean, my views have changed on gold digging. I don't even know exactly. If you're on some reckless short term type of stuff with it, then yeah, okay, I can call it gold digging. But if two people actually get together and they have a workable, sensible relationship, and he happens to be a good provider and she meets every requirement that she meets everything that he requires, I can't call her a gold digger. I can't do that. I can't do that. It's beautiful women been getting with men with money since the beginning of times, and that's just is what it is. And it's even nature. That's human nature. Ain't no getting around that. So I can't go there and say gold digger. But let me just make sure I flesh out everything else you said here. So the only way a woman gets a high value man is to get him when he was young. That much it's not the only way, but that is a way of going about it. It's called betting on the right horse. It's called in college, that guy who hid in the books about to get his engineering degree or something like that, committing to him when he ain't got an overabundance of poon coming his way. But instead of getting on board and committing to him, you'd rather have trains ran on you by, the football team or the frat, so you'd rather thought it up at some, sorority and fraternity parties and stuff. So, so there's a such thing as betting on the right horse and getting them early. But at the same time, it's a fair game to be played that if a guy has worked and became successful and he does actually want to start a family and she's showing up at 23, no kids, fit, in shape, gorgeous, and got her head on straight and acting right and doing everything he says and requires, and then yeah, that's a workable situation that could go left on him. We can't leave that part out. It could still go left on him, but that is a workable situation and a risk that some men take, and I understand that risk. Because I, as a man who, like I say, I talk about my kids all the time, got custody of my kids, I understand that there's a percentage of men that we can't get around this that do want families. So there's no getting around that. We can talk to them about the dangers of it all we want. There's a percentage that do want families. So there's a way to make this, there's a way to at least try to minimize the risk and have a workable situation. But shout out to you, appreciate the super chat. Somebody said, "Oh, I see. It's called the hope strategy." I don't get all the hope arguments. Only the area where I got hopium. I'm going off that hopium in that I would like to see black people figure it out. Black men and black women. I would like to see more black families, and I have hope that will happen. But the individual man operating in this market, hey, do what you got to do to win in this market. However you got to win, because this dating market is wild out here. If you're looking for something traditional, it is wild out. It's a wild dating market. But like from a collective group standpoint, I'm going off that hopium, but I'm not going to tell an individual man that, nah. Do what you got to do. Do what you got to do. But anyway, I think I don't know if I was almost done with this clip or not. I think it was a little bit more left in here.
For versus what a man has to bring to the table for your life. You can't buy somebody to buy you a home. I could buy somebody to cook and clean for my house. I can't buy a person to come give me a house, give me a car, take care of me, and make sure all my bills
But I
in the
can
house
still
ain't
do that. That's what
I'm not saying that you can't. I'm saying that you're not, and I'm saying that you're not willing to. So,
Did you hear what I said? I've done it before that, so I can and I will.
I'm just gonna interject here. Can I do that? So
She's trying to save homegirl because she know homegirl losing.
I just want to say that besides Aaron, I feel like other women have a different approach on what they bring to the table. So me specifically, I'm not a female that says I cook, says I clean. I could definitely do all those things, but I definitely don't want anyone to feel like that's my job as a woman in a house. So yeah, I'm not going to come and say that that's what I'm doing. Me as a female, as a boss, as an entrepreneur, I'm going to dish the money. You'll never know that I make more than you, that I make less than you. I'm always going to treat my partner as an equal. Me, even if I'm making more than you, I will never want to take the masculinity away from my partner in saying, oh, well, I make more and blah, blah, blah. But if we're going to go half and half on the bills, I'll pay this bill and this bill. What you paying this month? I'm gonna dish out the money, and I've always been.
Listen, you could tell. First of all, you're not gonna be my wife, and I don't know how much money you make. That just doesn't even make sense.
Right on. I haven't even seen this part because I stopped it at because it's already past the part that I wanted to talk about. But what she was saying right there, it was almost like she was basically saying, "I ain't about to be cooking and cleaning." And I thought she was about to say, when she said, and I could be making the money, but I ain't gonna tell you how much I'm making. Like, I was like, damn. Until she at least said 50-50, then I was like, okay, she ain't about to be doing a lot of cooking and cleaning, but she gonna work and pay half the bills, but she ain't gonna tell you how much she's making because she got a mad stash over there, but she at least putting half on it. Like, that's where relationships at nowadays. That's truthfully where a lot of relationships are at nowadays. It is. Homeboy said it exactly right. Took the words out of my mouth. Like, you think we about to be living together, working together, building something together? I don't know how much money you got bringing in. I wish I had that clip of Obsidian like to play that. Bitch, are you for real?
It's not like literally you don't know how much I'm making, but I'm not going to make it obvious in our households that.
Wait, but let's talk about he bringing up something.
Now, if she's saying from the perspective of, I'm not going to hold it over your head if I'm making more. I'm not going to be constantly pointing out that I make more. If she's saying that, then all right. But she's took so long to get around to that point. I don't believe you. You need more people.
Real.
So say if you and your say if you and your man, right? Y'all partner, you and your partner, right? You got you're equal, right? According to Amanda, you're equal, right? Y'all got $10,000 in a joint account, right? You make more money than him.
Can we clarify how the 10,000 got?
I was just about to say that chick here, she don't do joint accounts, and she want clarification of how it got in the joint account. Now, I haven't seen this, but I suspect their view of how that what should be done with that money is going to differ based off whether or not they put most of that money in the account. I'm going to jump out on a limb and assume that if he put most of the money in the account, well, it's both of their money. We're a team. We're a unit. If they put most of the money in the account, then it's like, oh, hell no. It's like, oh, hell to the no. I'm just going to assume that. I don't know. I haven't seen it.
got there?
Oh.
No, is it 50-50?
Listen, listen, it can be. Listen, you're right. Just say you put in. It's 50-50. Just say it's 50-50. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna keep it even because that's your equal, right? So now there we go. So now this man, he needed a car, right? You make more money than him. You got a car, and he takes $9,000 and go buy a car. How would you feel?
I wouldn't put up with that. And I know, but I'm gonna just say like this. So I do
She look like, what's that one
work hard for my money.
chick that does adult content, last name Banks, forgot the first name. Don't make me Google it. She looked like the adult film star. Sarah Banks. Kinda. Yeah, because I just Googled a picture of her. She looked like Sarah Banks. No, not Hillary Banks. Are y'all with me? Push one in the chat if she looked like Sarah Banks. Okay, now I'm watching the chat pretend like they don't know who Sarah Banks is. Sarah Banks, she got one of those weird, her pussy is it's like an Audi. It's like weird. I can't explain it. Every time I be trying not to cuss, I end up saying something that I shouldn't say. But she got like a weird Audi. It's like it's something, I don't know. Anyway, if you know, you know. All right, Charles Merchant in the building with the super chat. He said the silly woman's answer to any relationship, marriage, or otherwise is to perform as a man. They behave as feminist. Absolutely, absolutely. Shout out to you and roast beef. I don't know if it's quite wizard sleeve status. Shout out to Zero. I don't know if he made the term wizard sleeve. He the first one I heard say it. But yeah, she got an Audi. It's like kind of weird. Meat curtains. All right, let's roll some more of this. I think I put the link in the chat.
And I'm only downplaying how much money I make to, I don't know, appease you, I guess. But I do want to reference, I never remember this movie every time I want to talk about it, but that Tyler Perry movie where Janet Jackson got the HIV because her husband was cheating. Anybody know that
Something
movie?
for Black girls.
Four color girls.
Yeah, right.
I don't think that was Tyler Perry. I don't think Tyler Perry had anything to do with that movie. Somebody said she looked more like, I think I still got that up, closer to Roxy Reynolds. I'll give her a little bit of that. Oh, no, that was Tim Tate. Oh, wait. Okay. All right, I'm done. I'm done trying to figure out which movie myself. All right.
She was a lawyer. She made more money than her husband, and her husband took out a lot of the money out of their joint account, and she was pissed. And I understand that's not okay. But and then now I do want to reference Crazy Rich Asians, where the girl felt guilty for having way more money than her husband. So she used to shop on the low. So that's maybe something I would do, but not like shop on the low, but have a different account.
But what is the problem? Please help me out here. What is the problem for a man don't mind his woman making more money than him? What is the problem?
I don't personally believe that there is a problem for people who make that decision. If that's your decision to not feel a certain way, baby, that's on you. But as for me, in my house. This is how I feel. You know what I mean? And I think that a lot of women.
All right. I hate watching stuff or reviewing stuff that I haven't exactly seen because I don't know where it's going, and it's going to be a lot of unprepared word salad that I can't listen to people just talk about nothing. So I was gonna let it ride beyond the part of it that I have seen, but the part of it that was necessary to what I'm talking about was already played out. The link in the chat, but overall, more so the moral of the story here, looking at what he's saying, looking at what the brother, particularly the brother in the blue, said, looking at what he said and how he broke down everything, and cross-referencing that also with the statement that was made. I don't know if it was Donovan Sharp or Kevin Samuels started. I think it was Kevin Samuels. It was essentially a matter of the thing that a woman that could bring, that would be one, something that she's never given to a man, or a lesser man. That's the provocative way to say it. But yes, it would. Traditionally, yeah, it was showing up a virgin without another man kids. But we've even moved that needle to the point to where, look, when ain't no virgins showing up. But yeah, if you're not showing up without kids and offering what essentially amounts to exclusive access to your womb, and then that is a situation where even then it could be argued otherwise, but the man who's in that situation, who's doing the traditional role, the traditional thing, he's not getting as bad of a deal. It's a bad deal whenever a man is even considered, even asked remotely to do something traditional to a woman, for a woman that's lived a non-traditional life her whole life, to the tune of showing up overweight, over 35 with kids. It's absurd that that's even a conversation. It's absurd that that's even a conversation. And then she tried to measure arms with how she can color coordinate the bathroom towels and restock the toilet paper and cook some food here and there. And her correct response is, if a man shows up and does all this for me, the response is not to try to equalize what you do, but no. It's to realize he is doing far more for you than what you could ever return. And basically, this man you practically got to be on some damn near whatever you like type stuff. Practically worshiping the ground he walks on. He's doing more for you than what you could ever possibly do if he's fulfilling his traditional role. And most of women lives a lifestyle today to where they can't deliver on the traditional role. That's my conclusion. That's my thesis. That's my point here. But we got Game Changer in the building who made me stop the show yesterday, man. You was letting this. Okay, I ain't gonna bring up you put them to pulled up ism community. Okay, we ain't gonna talk about that. I had to stop the show. Oh man, the end of the last show was funny. Shout out to Game Changer, shout out to Ism, shout out to everybody who was in the building. But what up, Game Changer? You got the floor, you got the mic.
Okay, I appreciate it. But yeah, it's interesting because she showed like a lack of respect for Black men that she was trying to hide when she said, "You're like children." That was a huge Freudian slip that we should not let pass, because it seems like this. The disrespect is going to come one way or another. It's going to come if you fulfill the traditional role, meaning, you are the provider, protector, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You're still like a child. And if you are in the non-traditional role, meaning that you offer the support that she claimed that she offered, then she will still say you're like a child because you're economically dependent on us. There really isn't a way, to curb the disrespect for some women. Now, I want to say this. What she said is true, and it actually is valuable. When you think about what it takes to just live life, it takes a major task like maintaining employment, or education or whatever you're doing with your life at that stage in your life. So no matter what, it takes a major commitment, and then it takes a bunch of minor things that you would rather just not do. Like who really in the time of everything has the time to, like, say, go get their tires rotated and things like that. Like there are hundreds of little tasks that you would rather not do, that I would rather delegate to someone else. And there isn't always a person for that outside of a personal assistant. So
No, but you do see the problem in her trying to equate small task to the really big thing that he's doing. It's sort of the equivalent. And hey, shout out to you on this one. You explained this real. I mean, this was a few years ago when you was breaking down waiting to exhale, or how you do. You'll look at a movie but then analyze it through a red pill lens, so to speak. And,
right.
And you pointed out that when Angela Bassett was going off listing everything that she did for the man who when he got on, he left her for a white girl, whatever the Kanye lyrics are. She was breaking down everything that she did, but was breaking it down like she was basically running the company and wiping his ass for him. What did she say? I was a secretary.
Yeah, I was your lover, your secretary. She basically said she was his white bitch, for 11 years, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, but what she did was basically out of the grand scheme of building that, I'm assuming a company. I mean, it looked like a company worth over $1 million. In the grand scheme of doing that, okay, if you were a secretary from the start of that company, I'm generous 5 to 10% of the total value of that company that you added to it. A very generous 5%. If you were just doing secretary work. So in that sense, that's why I'm looking at the things that she was saying. That hold on, if he's showing up, that has bought a house, doing all the traditional stuff. I hate the conversation. What do you bring to the table? He's basically saying, I brought a damn house to the table and I'm paying for everything in the house. Then at that point, cleaning it up and restocking the toilet paper is it is small compared to what he's bringing, especially if she's not showing up childless and in shape and in the whole works.
Yeah, I agree. They're talking about that doesn't really equate to anything. First of all, it's weird because she didn't even mention motherhood or actually bearing children. Which really
that was the reason. That was the reason why I just assumed she had kids.
No, I'm talking about Angela Bassett.
Oh, okay. I was talking about this chick. Okay, all right.
No, it's very interesting how they view value of a woman, and it doesn't include things that only a woman can provide. It doesn't include things like child rearing and childbearing. It doesn't. Angela Bassett's character didn't, and neither did this woman mention that, in the thing. Like, he would have to shut up if he said, if she said, I can be a good mother to your child. And because that's not really something of value they feel they can bring to a man, that is why they tend to wait a lot longer to actually take relationships seriously. They actually wait to the point to where they can't reasonably provide those things. And then they offer themselves like, yeah, but I cook or something like that. And it's kind of weird because when a woman is young, she brings youth and fertility to a relationship. And plus all the other things that the woman on the show mentioned. Now, when she's older, she only brings those things. And because a lot of women only value those extra things, they keep child rearing and childbearing off the table, because then guys will say, okay, well, you are diminished in that way. I don't know how old this chick was, but she was too damn old and too damn big. So, that's another factor. She didn't say beauty or anything like that. Like, youth and fertility wasn't on the menu with this particular girl.
Yeah. And there's one thing I like about this space when men are talking about actually being that traditional man. Youth and fertility is an equal exchange.
It is.
Youth and fertility and no kids that's an equal exchange. It is.
It is. The sisterhood has long decided not to offer that.
Yeah.
They decided not to offer that because it takes away from them living their best life and pursuing their career in a young age.
That's why she had to talk about she
talked about what's left
furniture.
after.
She picked the furniture and replaced the toilet paper. That's why she had to talk about that.
Exactly. And those things are still good, but I mean, youth infertility is far more valuable. Like, youth infertility is like the ultimate in value that you can't get for $60 a week, or however much, or $600 a week.
I think $600 a month.
Or $600 a month. You know, these are things that you won't get for that. That is the ultimate value. Absent that, and really in a traditional marriage, what a guy is doing when he stays married to a woman after, say, 40 or something like that, is he's repaying her. He's paying her in arrears. It's like paying off your student loan. You're paying her for the youth infertility that she offered in her 20s. When you were broke and she was beautiful. You know, when you was trying to get that team lead position at Burger King and she was the second hottest female in high school, and she chose you now, and you a doctor at 40, and you know she got a couple of crow's feet. Now it's time for you to repay. That's exactly what traditional marriage was. But now,
hold on, real quick. That what you just described right there, that's where the she deserves to get half comes from, because men were marrying 20-year-old young, pretty, fertile women, and the man was probably in his early 20s as well. He became successful by 40, and now he want to trade her in and go get another 20-year-old, and she just out on the street. Then that's where the half came from. And in a traditional context, it makes sense.
It does.
Nowadays, it don't make as much sense. It don't make
She
any
wants
sense,
to be
really.
35 years old after you done became a millionaire, and then still finesse you out of half.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Now and that's why they're trying to get men to accept that deal. But no, you're not offering the same deal that my grandpa got. Period. You know,
if you're not a virgin,
go for it.
Go ahead, B.
No, just saying, and that's what Bernard was saying. You know, that's when it makes sense. That's why the laws was made. Exactly. You got it, Keith.
And now what's happening is, and what I think, you know, with this high value conversation, and unfortunately, I think too many men are falling for it, is you don't get your bills paid if you're not a virgin. I'm sorry. If you coming with bodies to the table, you are going to contribute half. I'm sorry. And to be honest, most men ain't even really asking.
I got some disagreement with you there, because if she can show up young, fertile, no kids,
I get you.
Say,
but the problem
you say
is,
virgin, that's a tough ask nowadays.
If you want to have 100% of the bills paid, then that is the price. I didn't say you can't get married if you're young and beautiful. You just ain't getting 100% of your bills paid. All right. You asking for a brand new product, 100%. Wrapping is still on it. Ain't nothing in the universe where wrapping is off and you paying 100%. You're overpaying. The problem is because American women are so fucked up that any sort of notion like that seems extreme, right? It's like, because most of our women are threes, it sounds extreme to want an average woman, because most of them are fucking ugly. So of course, when you say, hey, I want a decent looking woman, everyone says, oh my God, because there's a lack of decent looking women. That is the standard. A woman being attractive is this, like the same way they'll say, okay, well, men do also go after women they're attracted to, and they should go after the ugly women who have character. No. If she is ugly, she is not a woman. A woman being attractive is a prerequisite, period.
True.
So that is not a negotiation. If you want to have 100% of your bills paid for, understand that is a heavy lift for a man to do. The least you can do for him is bring him a fresh womb, period.
Well,
now this negotiating, you know, is coming from the fact that the women are trying to finesse from the bottom. Well, it started because men are saying, okay, we want you women to act right. The women are saying, I'm not going to act right. But if in order to try to make it seem like I'm gonna do something, how about this? How about you pay for everything and then I'll think about it? How about that? Now niggas are in a trick bag. Well, shoot, okay, well maybe if I pay for everything. No, you shouldn't even consider paying for anything because that whole concept was a fucking finesse anyway. You live in America, everyone works, everyone contributes, everyone pays. Okay, like this isn't even a negotiation. You don't just go up and sit up and lay up on your ass and not do anything, and then try to Jedi mind trick you to believe that's you're just trying to be a housewife. No, housewife is the wording. You simply want to sit up on your ass and not do anything. And men need to stop accepting that. You will contribute like every other American and you will act right, or you will go to your own house and pay 100%. Stop having them convince you that they're saving 50% and you're finessing them.
Hey, let me respond to something that Ike said in the chat room. He said virgins.
Real quick, I was reading. Silent. Yeah, I think everybody agree with you. The only area where some disagreement going to come in with that is that I do think it's a fair deal that okay, she didn't show up a virgin, but okay, let's say you've worked hard, you've become successful, and you want a family. She's shown up young, attractive, in shape, with no kids. I think right there that's a fair deal. Right there,
it's not because only we have to make this deal. Every other group of men has a decently attractive woman. I live in Dallas. You think all these women who work at these insurance companies making $50,000, $60,000, $80,000, they go home to their husbands and they act right? Like, what universe are we living in? Everybody's working now.
You talking about acting right? No, acting right is non-negotiable either way.
No. What I'm saying is this notion that that it's even negotiable. Like the requirement is for you to pay all the bills. No, you are a grown ass adult. Everyone works.
Oh no.
Everyone is productive. You not paying bills is not an option. That is a lazy individual who is just using word semantics like provider to finesse.
No,
wait. Wait. Are you talking about the 30-year-old woman showing up with no kids? I mean, showing up with kids. I mean,
no.
If you're talking about the 35-year-old woman showing up with kids, talking about men she provide, then yeah, she's asking for a traditional man, and she's spent from 20 to 35 living a non-traditional life. Now, if she's done that, then I absolutely agree with you. But if it's a workable situation where she's not showing up with another man's kids, she can offer youth, fertility, in a womb that babies haven't came crawling out of yet, and a man is to be traditional in that situation, that's a fair deal.
I understand it's fair for you. If she is not a virgin, she don't get 100%. You don't. Gotcha. I don't care if you don't have a kid. If you got 20 bodies up under you, why the fuck am I paying 100%?
No, I get so Bernard. In a nutshell, I think what Keith is saying, as far as when he mentions other cultures, is that
real quick, GC, just to give you a heads up, I'm on a walk. My battery's low, so I might just drop the fuck off real quick.
Okay,
no problem.
Okay, but what Keith is saying is that other cultures is getting the stuff that we're demanding already. Like, so when he mentioned the insurance company,
non-Western.
No, in the West, like the insurance company workers that he talked about that makes 50 to 80K or something like that, they go home and they are submissive to the wife, and they are submissive to the husband, and they pick out the couch too.
I'm with that. I'm with that.
What I'm saying is she's getting that, and she is not getting 100% of the bills paid. So if you start at that point, it's like, what do I get if I eliminate her having to make that 80K? So what are you getting for 80K? And what Keith is asking for is a virgin.
No,
it's like, give me your virginity or give me 80K.
That part I agree with. I've long said that's been a sticking point on my show that if you a guy and you're making, let's say you making 80, 90K, and then she working and she making 50K. Oh yeah, she absolutely owe you submission. You don't. She don't get to say because I work.
You owe submission and something on that light bill. You owe submission and something on that light bill.
Well, no. I mean, if you got both of y'all working and under the same roof, then her money, you should be managing her money either. Regardless of how y'all divvy up who pays what. She ain't got, like that one chick was saying, how she basically got a separate account somewhere. No, ain't none of that going on.
Because here's the thing, Bernard. I pay 100%.
Hold on. We got a damn near. All right, he dropped, but we got to damn near stop the show for a second, real quick. Oswald in the building. Oswald 123. Thank you for the $20 super chat. Chakanulu in the building. He said they talk about use of fertility, but I know y'all see these ugly ass baby mamas walking around here. Yeah, maybe they got knocked up when they was in the youth, but I mean, if they doing the baby mama, baby daddyism, they ain't doing it right. The men and the women who getting caught up in that. So I wasn't talking about them. I was just talking. Well, I mean, we was talking about it in different contexts. Mr. in the building happens to be like 7 years ago. I made one sandwich. I demand half of your earnings. Mr. Shane Butcher said, most of you learn to cook. Most of us learn to cook for ourselves. At this point, them cooking is almost irrelevant. I like it though. I do like it. There are no more patriarchal benefits for men, so fuck it. But we got to stop the show and got to roll out the red carpet and drop the Coming to America rose petals because Mumia back in the building. What's going on? Welcome to the show.
Hey, what's going on, fellas?
Hey, welcome back.
Thank you.
I hope you're better, man.
Yeah, I feel a lot better, and I was compelled to jump on because this is a very good topic, very good and timely topic. And Bernard, I'm going to be talking to you off list about the show the other days, but I don't want to bring that back into this. So there's 2 points that Keith, Silent Lamont, and Game Changer made that I think are very important in relation to the topic and the video. I was watching it while I was, taking care of my business in my study. That very interesting conversation those folks had. Okay, I'll go to Keith first because he's not here at the moment. Keith makes a very good point because really what this whole and let's be honest here, at least part of this conversation is informed by Kevin Samuels's actions over the past year, paying all the bills, high value men, all the rest of it. Okay. Mm-hmm. So Keith Silent Lamont's argument is legitimate to this extent. The ladies have to admit, if you want a man to pay top dollar, what is he getting for that top dollar? Keith Silent Lamont makes a legitimate point. Look, if you're a woman, I mean, I know a lot of ladies don't want to hear this, but it's the truth. If you're a woman that has had children previously, that's mileage. I mean, you can't get past that. I mean, now, we could debate whether or not we get into a thing where we, you deduct, a certain amount of dollars from, per child or per rides on the carousel or whatever. I mean, you can do that. I'm just simply saying he does make a point. How do you argue that you're demanding? It's one thing if a guy does it of his own volition, but if you're demanding, and there are ladies out there who demand that a man pay top dollar, pay for everything, but she got 2 and 3 kids from previous individuals. Make it make sense. Where else in the world, and Kevin makes this point, where else in the world do you expect to pay top dollar for something that has had extensive use? Where else does that work? Nowhere. So I mean, it's how do you make that? There's you can't rationalize that anywhere else in the world. I mean, for the ladies, many ladies have their own cars, homes, etc., so forth. None of those ladies would pay top dollar for a thoroughly used car. None of those ladies would pay top dollar for a the equivalent of a house or apartment, condo, so forth. That a thoroughly used car. No woman would do that. I mean, she's a fool if she does. So Silent Lamont, Keith, makes a legitimate point there. I have to admit that. A man is asking, what is he getting for his dating and mating dollar? In this case, in this particular instance, a long-term cohabitating relationship or marriage. In other words, she lives under your roof or y'all get married. Okay. So what is he getting for that? He's not getting the same type of body, man. That you can't get. He makes a really good point there. You can't get past it. So that's got to be prorated. I suggest that in a situation like that, for black men like Keith, Silent Lamont, who feel that way, I'm not speaking for all black men, but for those who agree with him, I think the solution should be prorated. You have to prorate that. You know, you go on the basis of how many kids or how many carousel rides, and then you prorate and you deduct that from the overall amount for the ladies who demand that. That's the only fair way to do it. Now, going to Game Changer's argument. Now, he makes a really good point, and we've talked about this many times. The idea that the Mexican guy, you know, he comes across the Rio Grande, he sells tamales on the corner and all the rest of it, but then he goes back home to Lourdes and she treats him like a king. Okay. Then you got, you know, my man Chang. Chang, he comes off the boat from China. He come over here. He work all day at the Chinese takeout. He go back home to Mei Ling. She treat him like a king. Got it. Now we got people coming from Afghanistan. Muhammad coming from Afghanistan. He up there selling the carpets and prayer rugs and all the rest. We go back home and his woman Alma, she treat him like a king. Okay. Got that. I would argue the following. There is something to be said for cultural differences, right? There's something to be said for that. So if black women, we gotta be specific now, black American ADOS black women, if their argument is we want a plug and play man, we don't want no struggle love, we don't want no build-a-boo, we want him to have his act already together, ready to rock and roll, he gotta pay this, gotta pay this. Okay. Then he expect absolute submission, man, in return from that. What man, we gotta go again. What man is going to pay top dollar for arresting you know what face?
Well,
what man is going to pay top dollar for snark, back talk, attitude? What man in his right mind is going to pay for that? Once again, we got to go back to the car example. Why are you paying top dollar for a car that backfired? What's that all about?
So Obsidian, I agree with you completely on the points that you mentioned. I want to point out though that what I was saying was that submission comes standard in every other model. You know, it comes standard in every other model. See, we're asking for and we're negotiating for a basic submission. Basically what we're asking for is for her to not have a resting bitch face. What does that sound like? So what Keith was saying and what I co-signed is that, listen, I just expect that. That's a base expectation. Just kind of like when I buy a car, I expect for it to have tires. I expect for you to be, reasonably submissive. That's a basic expectation. Now, what I will get in addition to the basic expectation for top dollar is what he requests is virginity. Now I think that what Bernard's response is just living with the fact that you can't really get virginity like that in America. So you want to give the American black women a fair chance at these things. So I get where you're coming with that. I kind of get.
And also, let's just keep it real. Most of us, myself included, I did like that when I was single. There was plenty of women who did like to engage in some casual sex. We've all engaged in some casual sex. So we're engaging in casual sex, but also expecting virgins to come from the same market it's just not possible in terms of the virgins. But so my argument is this: Asian American women engage in casual sex. They don't get pregnant out of wedlock at an extremely high rate. White women engage in casual sex. They don't get pregnant out of wedlock at an extremely high rate. And I don't believe that they're still doing that. Oops, we got pregnant. Let's go run and shotgun marriage it. I think there's a matter of some people can have casual sex and be sexually responsible with it. Like all of us here on this panel have had casual sex and were responsible and didn't knock nobody up. Like it can be done, but if a culture, a community, or a country, a free Western society, there's a lot of people engaging in it. There are going to be a percentage of people who are going to end up, having babies out of wedlock, but the rates shouldn't be that damn high because with all the various ways to prevent it. But hold on, Game Changer, real quick. Shout out to Sun is Hot Ross, says sup Bernard GC, and welcome back, old man. Hope all is well. Also, shout out to Nick Penn in the building. Says, welcome back, Obsidian. We need you back in the sphere ASAP. Shout out to Nick Penn. And I agree. Snuggles 668 in the building. He says, welcome back, Obsidian. I mean, she says, welcome back, Obsidian. Now, seeing that I just came in, I would like you all to give me a brief synopsis of what I missed. I am waiting. No. You don't get that, Snuggles.
Oh, it's not that hard. It's not that hard. It's pretty straightforward. What and this is inspired. I take it today's show was inspired, at least in part, by a recent show that Kevin did. And he raises a good question. Ladies, all right, you made it clear. What do you want in a man? Okay, that's fine. We're good with that. The question is, what can you offer him that you ain't already gave to another? Let's just be brutally frank here. We're going, price discrimination. You gave so-and-so the store for little or nothing, but now you want the other guy here to pay top dollar. That goes back to what Keith and Game Changer are saying here. The question on the floor, Snuggles, and for everyone else, is to the black women to whom it applies. We're not talking about all black women. For the black women for whom it applies, the question on the floor is very simple. What is the man getting, or to be more pointed, what is the black man getting for his mating dollar? That's a legitimate question, man.
Yeah, and I agree. And more importantly, what are we getting relative to other races? Because if we were to play the scenario out as was described, we would be paying 100% of everything to get the same thing that other races of Western men get for paying, 65. Like that is not a good deal.
Yeah. No, there is that point. I mean, you got the Afghan man here, you got the Chinese man here, you got the Hispanic man here, and so on and so forth, and white. Let's just get right to it. And look, there are cultural differences. Black men can't help but to notice the cultural differences in how the Chinese man, the white man, the Afghan man, the Mexican man, how they're treated by their women versus how the black man is treated by the black woman. But the black man not supposed to say nothing about that. We're not supposed to notice that.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, so we do notice it, and we do notice that we are getting a lesser deal. Now, what the black women on here, or our interlocutors, as you would say, Obsidian, would say is that we deserve less for some type of historical failures that we had. If you want to go for that and you want to accept less because of that, that's fine. I'm not, and I don't think that any man should.
Well, I would ask any black woman who feels that way. Once again, I'm making it clear. We're not talking about all black women. We're talking about the black women who feel that way. All right. Okay. So explain to me how you go to a car dealership and then, they say, well, black women ain't a car. Just work with me for a minute. Explain to me how you go to a car dealership. You want to buy a car and they say, well, on the basis of historical stuff, that some other woman did, you don't deserve this car right here, even though you could buy it. You deserve this car over here, and you got to pay the same price. Explain that.
Yeah, no, it doesn't make sense. I mean, and also what they're saying is that, okay, this person gets to pay this price for this car, but you must pay a greater price for the same car.
Yeah. Wizard X in the building. He says, an attractive female who is a V is hard to come by. I go by low body count. Anything above 3 is a no for me. Thank you for the super chat, Wizard X. We also got Michael Graham in the building. He says, remember, they got on Jenny Mai for publicly saying she was submitting to Jeezy, and they dragged her on social media saying it was slavery. Yep.
Well, they get
real quick. Captain Cisco in the building. He said there are more male versions now than women versions. That is correct. There's data to show that. Car designer Chris says the GOAT is right. A used Mercedes Maybach and a used Ford get 2 different deals. All right. Shout out to you. Snuggles in the building, thanking Obsidian for answering my question. I am happy that you're back and you were kind enough to answer my question. You are the best. Yeah, he summed it up pretty good. I would have been too long-winded trying to sum up the whole damn show, so I just punted, but Obsidian did a good job of putting it in a few sentences. James Hudson in the building says, Hispanic men can cut grass for a living and get submission from his wife. Only black men have to go through all of this. See, I wasn't even talking about submission. I understand that Silent brought that in there. I mean, but that wasn't even that wasn't at the heart of what I'm saying. I mean, I think we all agree that a working man who's getting up, going to work every day, a relationship works better if the woman submits and follows, the man leads. Because if she's following, if he's yielding to her, she ultimately, on average, in most cases, she's not going to respect him, and the relationship ultimately not going to work. So I mean, just for the sake of things just working out, the man need to require that submission just off the strength of just he's a man, she's a woman, and we understand nature. That's where I'm at with that. If there's a relationship, you know, only time I will give a slight pass for a chick not being submissive to her man, if he's just an outright bum, then there's a question, well, why the hell you with him, you know? But anyway, Game Changer, you was about to say something, and I cut you off to read. Oh yeah, I got one more. James Hudson in the building says, oh wait, no, I already read that. Okay, no, I'm all done. So yeah, go ahead. You was about to say something. Go ahead, hop in.
Oh no, I forget what I was gonna say. It was in response to one of your previous super chats, but
I think I know which one it was. It was wasn't Snuggles. It was it this one? Attractive female. Was it that one, or was it Michael Graham? Oh yeah, that's this one.
Jenny Ma, yeah, it's exactly. So Jenny Ma, the reason why why they come down on people like Jenny Ma so hard is because they don't really want Black men to know the deal that that other races of men are getting.
Mm-hmm.
They want to keep that quiet. So if we go with Obsidian's car analogy, like say you spend $50,000 for a Mercedes, but you know someone else who negotiated well spent $35,000 for a Mercedes. The car dealer don't want that person to tell the other person what kind of deal he got. You see what I mean? Like, because then he's going to be like, hey, wait a minute, I'm getting a bad deal at this dealership. So I'm going to, you know, take my business elsewhere. Or, and I want to talk about that too. I'm going to take my business elsewhere, or I'm going to demand the same deal. See, they don't want that. That's why they come off of Jenny Ma. You know, basically, she made it clear that there are other cultures out there, and you do get a better deal with every other culture in the world. Now, as far as better deal with every other culture in the world, that's not bad. 30K is not bad. I thought it was 50. And I seen a documentary. I read an article where light-skinned charged double.
No.
No.
Wow, really? I didn't know
Where?
that.
It's the Igbo tribe. I think it's
in Nigeria. Wow.
Yeah, so I think it's Nigeria. But correct me if I'm wrong again. We could do a show on that. But I think light-skinned they charge a greater bride price. And I'm not making it up. I'm not just trying to, you know.
Score one for Rashida Strober. Don't let her get a hold of that information.
Yeah.
Got to score one for colorism. They won this round. if light-skinned brides got a higher price tag. But shout out to Ike. He said a vetted virgin bride from a traditional West African family can cost about $30,000. It's a valuable commodity. I have personal experience. So in other words, Ike went down there and made it rain in a village and bought him a wife. Yeah, No, I just see him just walking into a village and then just throwing money in the air and then just grabbing the one he wanted and just leaving. That's just how I visualize it. But anyway,
well, no, that's a very good price when you think about it, because like if you make 60K after taxes and you're paying half, then you know for the cost of 1 year you get the entire package. So I see nothing wrong with
that. Yeah, but no, I'm still tripping off the light skinned thing. That one is blowing me away. Really.
I don't know if Ike, because Ike is, he has much better expertise in this area than we do. But I would be very interested. I don't know if he knows about what Game Changer is talking about, but that would be a very interesting Saturday morning program with you and Ike, man, because that is very interesting. I had no idea that was the case.
Yeah, look up the article and set something up with Ike.
Yeah, no, that may be coming down the pipeline. That sounds like a damn good show. It sounds like a damn good show with do some do some more formal research on it, mixed with Ike's personal experience. That definitely can be a good one. What do you think about? Because this is one super chat that was up there, and if I pass it to Obsidian on this one, the cultural differences. Okay, we understand that in this Western world that we live in, where women are free and do what they want, but it seems like other races, they probably operate a little more traditional, it seems. But when we talk about the immigrants, they come over here and we know how they operate. And, they're clinging on to many facets of their aspects of their homeland, of wherever they came from. But here in the West, we've been here for generations, and so we're looking at major cultural differences. Like how much of that do we just say? And I think you've said this before, that it's just not going to be like that. Looking, expecting women, particularly Black women in this Western world, been here for generations, to respond or react a certain way.
Right.
They're more apt to respond to some game mouthpiece and swag, many of them, than a traditional working man who ain't just knocking it all the way out the park in terms of money, but still a traditional working man, much like the guy, the Hispanic laborer who hops on the back of a truck in front of Home Depot. I'm sure they do enough labor, enough carpentry work to make enough money to get by and put food on the table when the woman is submissive to that. How much of it do we just average into the equation that just like, nah, our women, a lot of them just don't act like that. They respond to other shit. They respond to a bunch of bullshit. And how much of it do we just got to accept that?
Well, see, the problem, Bernard, with in this part of the conversation isn't with the Black men, it's with the Black women. Look, and then again, I want to be very clear and precise on this. I am specifically speaking to the Black women nowadays. So there used to be a time, but this was before social media, they would use other means to get their message out. Nowadays, it's social media. We all know who the usual suspects, and don't need to name names or anything like that. These are the Black women, the loudest voices in the room, talking about Black men need to protect, provide. They don't protect, they don't provide. Okay, we're talking about them. Now, my thing is this. How do you want Black men to protect and provide and do all this other stuff, but at the same time, you're not prepared to reciprocate in kind along that same neo-traditional trajectory? So that's the fundamental issue. That's the fundamental contradiction that we're dealing with here. You can't be the type of American woman that you describe, American Black woman that you describe, want the Black man to protect and provide, do all this other stuff, pay all the bills and everything, but at the same time, you still want to be the modern Black American woman. Make that make sense. That's the question I have to the Black women for whom this applies. Because what man is going to do that? What man is going to protect, provide, pay all the bills, rain, sleet, snow, sick or well, and then at the same time have to put up with all that mouth, resting, face, snark, back talk, etc., etc., etc. Who's going to do that?
Right. Sun is hot rod in the building says, to answer the question, Black men who have been responsible, productive, and representation of positivity does not deserve the leftovers from another man, especially one that's socially lesser than him. Shout out to Sun is hot rod. Yeah, no, I agree. That's the pickle that we're in. That's the pickle that we're in. Men who upright and have done things right, putting out their cereal, impregnating, and yeah, they're if they are looking to do something traditional, if they do want a family, finding it in this market, not an easy task. Not an easy task. No ifs, ands, or buts about that. Shout out to everybody that's in the building. We got 381 in here, 227 on the like, 6 thumbs down. Make sure y'all definitely hit the like button. Make sure y'all definitely hit the like button. We appreciate everybody who's in the building. Appreciate everybody that's in the building. But yeah, I'm trying to think of what part. What part? It was another part of what happened in there. It was something the Game Changer said earlier. I can't even remember exactly what it was that I wanted to swing it back to.
Probably the child thing.
The child thing. Go ahead.
Where she said black men are like children.
Oh yeah. Well, that was one of the most ridiculous things, and I rightfully pointed out that even the man who's paying all your bills, you still figured out a way to say that he's like a child because you got to pick his socks up off the floor. Like,
was this in the video earlier?
Yeah, that was in the video.
All right, I must have missed that part. Okay, so let me get this straight. You have a man that's paying all. Do I have this right? The man is paying all the bills in the home. Am I right about that?
That was the scenario that was set up.
Okay, he is responsible. He goes to work every day. No drinking, no drugs, no philandering in the streets. He ain't beating her up, and he's paying the bills on time without fail. Rain, snow, sleep, whether he feel like it, whether he's sick or well. Do I have that right?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
But yet he is a child because she picked his socks up off the floor.
I'll play it. Hold on.
Okay. Y'all want to hear this? I want to hear this.
Asking for that heat. So you shouldn't feel
like
can pay the bills for everything, and she makes more money than me.
Now I'm about to say like
is under my name and I'm the one paying it, but you make 110. You still can't say much to you guys.
The thing about it is, and he makes a great point because just say person that's paying the rent, paying a lot. Expect me, you won't even
take care of the basic necessities in this relationship or in our house. That's the problem. If you make less and you fail to 40,000 extra
and providing more than just a financial way, and that's my problem. I want to make sure that y'all understand that men provide in more than just a financial way. And that's my problem, because if I sit here and ask, okay, cool, if I pay every bill in this house, right, and I fix everything in this house because I'm an electrician, what are you bringing to the table as a woman? What do you realistically do other than have sex?
Oh, you asking me?
I'm asking like
okay, so are you asking her as a woman that makes more?
I'm just asking. What are you bringing? Actually, every lady here, I want to know, what are you bringing to the table for the man that takes care of you?
Here we go. And take notes. So what I do is I make that house that you pay for, that you pay that mortgage for, I make it at home. I cook the meals. I'm washing clothes.
It's $100 a week.
Don't play with me.
I can get it made.
No. You see that? That's where you're going wrong. It costs more than $100 a week to have somebody cook for you, to have somebody clean up after you. Because a lot of times you men become our children. All right, we dress y'all, we pick up y'all clothes, we cook for y'all, we wash y'all's clothes, we clean up behind y'all. When y'all leave your little piss
Aaron,
on the floor.
You're a good woman, and that's what you do. But let's be clear here. It's a lot of I own a barbershop.
Yeah, there it is right there. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So there's see, the problem with these conversations with Negro folks is that it tends to get kind of disordered, and everybody's kind of talking over each other and all the rest of it. So let's wipe the slate clean. When the sister says, "I make a house a home," I can hear that. A woman does. A woman that's worth her salt does make a house a home. I'll go along with that. That's fair. But here's the problem, though. If you're going to make a house a home, part of the job of making a house a home is that you picking up the socks for your man that's paying all the bills, and as Brother Rico Hondo says in the thing there, taking care of all of the upkeep of the home. If he's doing that on a consistent basis, rain or shine, sick or well, paying all the bills on time without fail, then yeah, part of you making it a house a home is picking up his socks. That don't make him a child. That make him a man doing what he's supposed to do so you can make the house a home. See, this is the fundamental contradiction here. This is what I'm talking about. And this is the thing that black women, once again, for whom it applies, I'm not saying all black women, I'm saying the black women for whom it applies, this is something they got to address. Yeah, you're supposed to pick up the socks and make a house a home for a man that's taking care of his business. and handling this business, and you ain't got to worry about is the bills going to be paid or whatever. Yeah, you're supposed to pick up the socks. Yeah, that's part of you making it a house or home. That's what it means.
Chris Norwood in the building says black women expect black men to pay all the bills, trips, shopping, and give her money without any say in what she does or says. Bad deal. Walk away from disrespectful and ungrateful leeches and into a better life and more money. Thank you for the super chat. Appreciate that.
But no, I gotta head out. But I do want to say that what they're afraid of is, and I talked about this on my show. I was on Melody's panel, and I brought up the concept of negotiating, and then Sister George came up, and she was like, you should never negotiate. This was after the Fresh and Fit thing, where Fit was negotiating the $2,500 to do the thing topless, and which makes sense. You always negotiate. The concept of black men negotiating, instead of for just paying the price asked, is new to them, and they don't like it. They're used to us not negotiating. They're used to coming saying, single mother, 4 kids, overweight, over 40. Oh yeah, that's fine. I'll take anything. This is the price, right? They're used to us paying the ticket price always, instead of for negotiating. Now everyone here, including Keith when he was here earlier, was negotiating. Like, okay, if you want this, I want a virgin. The brother here is like, okay, if you want this, what do you offer? These are all negotiation talks, and they will always be against it. And then they'll come with the whole, you do not deserve it because you are like a child. They'll always sneak that in there because they don't like the concept of us negotiating.
Let me make sure I understand this right. Are you saying that women, or in that case, Sister George, I don't know if she specifically was doing that, but are you saying that they're using did she use the men shouldn't negotiate things? She try to flip that around to try to essentially say you shouldn't clearly state the deal that you will accept?
So when we were talking about, this was a couple of weeks ago when we were talking about the Fresh and Fit thing, and how he was negotiating with that one woman. Yeah, and I said he was right to negotiate. Somebody was saying that you should pay you should just pay the price that she asked, or you don't. I was like, what? And then she came on and co-signed that and said, you don't negotiate with the white man. And I was like, I do that all the time. Like, I'll do that with a white car salesman. I'll do that with a white plumber, a white electrician, a white mechanic. Like, you do that all the time. And what she was referring to was like when you go to Walmart, who chances are the person behind the register isn't a white man. You just pay the price for a candy bar that they present to you. So that's how they want you to think when you negotiate relationships with these women. They want you to say, listen, this is the price. You either pay it or don't. And and black men have gotten really bad deals because we refuse to negotiate in every facet of our lives, but especially relationships. We've got really bad deals.
I find that fascinating that, because that was, out of all the things that Fresh and Fit did wrong, that particular situation right there, that was a legitimate business negotiation. And I just find it fascinating that a woman's argument in response to that was, well, you shouldn't negotiate with a woman in a business or in a business deal. You shouldn't negotiate. You should either just accept or not accept whatever bullshit that came out of the woman's mouth. That's crazy.
Well, I'm not going to get into that whole
right
dumpster fire. But I will say this, that this is here we go again. So the system wants to say basically take it or leave it, but not us. We're not saying this. Black women themselves are saying brothers are leaving it. How many black women on social media are openly admitting that black men aren't even bothering approaching them no more?
Right.
See, this is the fun. See, be careful what you wish for, ladies. You just might get it. You want to do the take it or leave it deal? Okay. A lot of brothers say, all right, well, I'm done with it. Bye. This is what sisters are saying. Not you, not me, not Bernard, not anybody else. This is what black women on social media are saying themselves. They are complaining now that black men don't even want to be bothered no more to even approaching them no more. This is what you get when you put out a deal like that. Guy said, all right, well, the heck with it then. Now, that don't necessarily mean they go over to, you know, Becky and Marlene or whatever. They could just go home and just put on ESPN. There are a lot of guys I know, excuse me, they got a big, I have a buddy of mine. He got a big 60-inch TV set. He got his, he got the Madden, you know what I'm talking about, the video game we play, Madden and all the rest of it. That he's got his nice stereo set. He got a Frigidaire there, got all the snacks and stuff. He don't want to be bothered. He said, oh, hell, what is that? And he go home and watch that. A whole lot of guys do that.
Well, I think what needs to be understood by them, and I really got to go, it's 9:30, but what needs to be understood by them is that negotiation is a mercy. Like, you know, if you walk past a car dealership and you just look at the sticker price and then you just walk away, you know, that's bad for the car dealership. I mean, stopping by and say, listen, I'm willing to pay this for this particular car. Are you willing to negotiate? And then if they say no, then you walk away, then that's another thing. But you did give them a chance, you know. But now they are complaining that their cars are on the lot getting old, you know, and, you know, the batteries are dying. So they're basically, and they're still trying to sell it as if it's brand new. That's, you know, yeah, they just don't want brothers to negotiate. I got to go. I'll be in the cloud.
All right. Peace, GC. Peace, GC. All right. Oh, man. But no, good conversation. Good conversation. I guess I do got to ask, what's your, you got any projections, projected possibility of when you maybe back going live on your channel?
It's coming soon. I don't want to say the exact date, but it's coming soon. And just stay tuned. But I did want to drop. Oh, Edwin wants to get a piece of this.
Okay.
I did want to speak on this, if I may, with regard to the video that you showed.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I find it interesting. This has been a common theme over the years. Not to be fair, not just with the American black woman, to be fair, but I've noticed it with a lot of we'll just do it this way, American women. Okay, independent, got their own thing going on, they're educated, they're smart, they're beautiful, etc., 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 etc. They just can't find a man on their level. This is the question I have for all of these ladies, because they always, and in the black community, it's always framed as them always getting with a lesser man. Okay, all right. So here's my argument. As St. Kevin would say, relationships are reflective. Wherever you go, there you are. If you're so wonderful, beautiful, talented, educated, smart, accomplished, this, that, then why aren't you attracting that opposite in the man to yourself then? Why are you consistently drawing men who are less than you? There's something not right here about this picture. Something is off. We call that in the pickup world incongruent.
Yeah.
There's something not right there. Your lived experience tells you you obviously ain't all that, because if that was true, you would be attracting men like you. That is to say, accomplished, handsome, you know, educated, you know, you'd be the equivalent. Like attracts like. That's assortative mating. So if all you attracting are men that are lesser, it's because you're lesser. What else is there to conclude? Because there are other black, and I'm going to center it on black women. There are other black women who got men on their level. Michelle Obama did it. How come you can't do it? There are plenty of black women that got their man. Weezy did it with George Jefferson. How come you can't do it? Etc., etc., etc. So I'm just saying, these in this case, black. Again, I'm not going to hang this just on black women, because I've heard other women of other races say it too. But I've heard black women say this forever and a day. And nobody, for whatever reason, nobody goes to them and says, listen, okay, look, if you're so wonderful, how come a great guy hasn't swept you off your feet by now? Why? Why is that? Obviously, you're not as great as you think, because if that was true, you would have been snapped up by now. Somebody would have snapped you up worth their salt by now. If you just keep attracting losers, what does that say about you? See, in the pickup world, if a man approaches, let's say for sake of argument, so you do 10 approaches, right? So you approach 10 women, okay, and you get 10 phone numbers. Okay. You set up dates with all 10 of these women. Okay. Now, it's expected that you're going to have some flake out rate. That is to say, some of the ladies just like they ain't going to show up on it. Okay, fine. So you say, okay, I could take a loss on 2 of them. Fair enough. But my man, if you're getting 4 and 5 and 6 women flaking on you, man, it's something wrong with you. That's how it goes in the pickup world. See, ain't nobody going to coddle you in the pickup world and say it's you can't find no woman on your list. No, my man, it's something fundamentally wrong with your game if you approach 10 women and 5, 6, 7 of them flake on you, man.
Well, if I can piggyback, actually, it's if you're doing that.
Well, hold on real quick. Hey, what I was going to add to that, if the flake rate gets over 50%, that's when it becomes a problem and something you're doing wrong. In this modern dating time nowadays, the flake rate is high. You want to keep it under 50%. It's when it get over 50% where it's probably something you're doing, but you got to expect a percentage of flakes nowadays. Chicks, they be all over the place, but that was I'll say that.
All right, we all agree. 50%. 50% is the benchmark. We all agree on that. Okay, fine. So if you got it, you keep it under 50%, cool. You over 50%, my man, something wrong with you.
Yeah, I'll say that's about fair.
Well, I have to disagree only because I think it's always been said if you're doing 10-20%, if you're closing at a 20% rate, you're actually doing pretty good.
Well, closing mean having sex. Flake mean for a guy a date was set up and it was actually delivered upon. She actually showed up. Y'all met where y'all said that was gonna meet.
The bigger point is at some point troubleshooting starts. You can't blame the environment. There's a break. It doesn't matter the number. We could say 80%. But let women tell it. They could have a fucking 10 for 10 flake out rate, and it's just all niggas ain't shit.
Right, exactly. And that's what I'm getting at, Edward, with this idea that although it was shown in the video, I've heard this type of talk going back to the 90s with, in this case, black women who's, they're so educated, beautiful, this, that. Then why do you keep flaking out? Why you got such a huge flake out rate, man?
Because they're in jail or they're gay.
Exactly, right. All I know, it's something, and I do blame, in the black context, I do blame the black love industry, man. They have that, along with the media and so forth, have really gassed these ladies that I'm talking about, really gassed their heads up. Somebody just needs to Kevin is doing it. Give them just a dose of, they used to have the bucket. You remember that bucket water challenge? You take the big Gatorade bucket, throw it on you. It's got all the ice and the water in it. That's what they need to do with these ladies. Give them a bucket water challenge. Just wake up, man. It's something with you. You can't possibly be all that if the only men that you keep attracting on a consistent basis are losers.
Never get high on your own supply, and they are gone. This is why Kevin does what he does. My easy thing that I tell dudes to do, if they're gonna engage with people on social media with this bullshit, ask these women, why haven't you expanded your options yet? If you're so great, then find a guy, because black men ain't changing. So if you believe that black men are going to become this thing you're going to become, we're getting further away from that, not closer to it. So you need to go be great. Why haven't you dated out, or why haven't you dated black men from other cultures? Why? That is the question I always ask them. Go ahead, Silent.
At what point do you just start laughing at these goofy broads? I mean, it's not like we haven't had enough conversations. I mean, by the way, oh man, what it is, bruh. Hey,
what's up, Key? I don't know if you heard me earlier. I did respond to a point that you made about, I call it, I want to be PG here, prorating the lady. Okay, we'll put it that way. Prorating the lady. You made a really good point about paying top dollar. That is to say, cohabitating relationship, you paying all the bills and stuff. But you made a really good point. So listen, I'm not paying for a virgin here. I'm not paying for a woman that's, low miles, if you will. I'm paying for a woman that's got high miles. She got a kid, 2 kid, 3 kid, and had all these rides on the carousel. That nowhere else in the world of commerce would that work.
These women are equivalent to salvage titles. Go ahead.
And so, yeah, they're trying to say, but we had that whole talk about basketball wives. All this is just talk, man. Basically, again, what we're talking
They're
about.
not even certified pre-owned.
Not even. But I mean, the hustle must continue. But that's what I'm saying. Like, we keep having these conversations. Like, why don't we just tell them? Everyone is coming from the auspices of these women don't know. They know.
What do you mean, why don't we just tell them? Wait. What do you mean? Why don't we just tell them? Who said, why don't we just tell them?
Flood damage.
I'm sorry. Say again. What were you asking?
You said we're having a conversation from the standpoint of why don't we just tell them? Who's
No, I'm saying laughing at these goofy, like, because we keep basically, we just say these words, then there's nothing you're going to say because they're full of shit.
What Silent, we keep talking because black men are stupid. That's why. No, you gotta hold on. We do that because the dudes.
You gotta get 2 sentences here, but G.
All right, let's let them finish it. But you go ahead, Silent.
No, you good. I be trying to get on the road. But you good. What's your question, brother?
Go ahead, finish.
I
think Ed was trying to say, since you passed him for his question, he was saying these conversations continue because it sounded like you was questioning why the conversations continue to have. I mean, not
in that auspices. I'm just basically saying I'm laughing at these goofy broads. I ain't really saying you niggas need to. Why are you arguing with women? That ain't what I was saying. I'm basically saying I laugh at these goofy broads, and it's obvious by my commentary. See, when I hear all this conversation, it's because people are taking them at face value. All right, they're talking just to keep you running in fucking circles. They already know all the answers to these goddamn questions. Like when you see these women get on these panels and they'll ask a question, then you know the answer. Her whole goal is to get you answering the question so she can ask you another question to take her off the focus so she needs to fix her shit. All right, like that's the nigga dance. She know all, like when my boy Kevin say, a lot of these women are afraid. No, the women are not afraid. What? Because they tell you they're afraid? How are they afraid when they're the ones breaking all of their families? How are they afraid when they're the ones tearing the children away from the homes? How are they the ones afraid when they're the ones doing all of the pain? Like, they're not afraid. They say they're afraid so we can talk about therapy and how I was hurt. No, you just ain't shit. Somebody said you're just a bad person. And just instead of owning, what? I'm a bad person. We got to go into all this. I need therapy. No, they're choosing and doing everything they want to do. All these bras that were in Freaknik in the 90s, busting it open, are now on the internet talking about high value men. Stop. You ain't getting no dude that's making $150,000. Stop. It's just all cap. It's all talk. Because if they can get you start talking about $150,000, the focus is still back on you. The focus is off of them. They know they're not getting no rich nigga. Half of these broads live in communities where they're making car payments on old Kias. Stop. When they go to the club, all these broads talking about they think they're 10s. These broads know when they go to the club, they're just a basic bride standing in line like the rest of these bees, looking at celebrity women, at how pretty they are, looking at Sierra. They know damn well they ain't fucking Sierra. They ain't that goddamn disconnected. They tell you that to keep you nigga dancing, to not have to face the fact that you ain't shit. They can't face that head on. But when you just tell them, I know it's because you ain't shit, we have to own that. So instead, we got to do all this dancing around. Well, I ain't saying all, and and no, the answer is you are a terrible woman. You are a horrible woman. That's the problem.
Okay, so
I think that was me who said, and I think that was me who said that they're just bad people. Some of them just bad people. We don't need to be trying to figure out, well, if the man did this or the man did that. No, some of them just going to operate the way they operate.
So the question comes in, because I get that. I didn't think you were just saying, why are we talking about women? But it comes back to what I said, because I knew where it was going. So why do black men deal with them?
Because black men
I think this space is a lot about not dealing with the problematic women.
No, we've already established. Well, the thing about it is because he ain't talking about problematic women. He's talking about the general synopsis of, if you average out the pool, This is a commentary somebody can make on the pool. So my question is, again,
On
why?
Western women in general?
Well, we could talk Western women. We could talk black women. I mean, most black men deal with most black women. So, and we're all black. So I tend to keep it within the black community for that purpose. But my thing is, so why we've already established that black men want black women more than black women want black men. That's already been pretty much established and agreed to for the most part. You got a look on your face, Bernard. Like black men.
I was reading. No, I was.
Okay. My bad. I understand.
I be doing other stuff with the chat room.
So the question is, with all of it, it comes back to what I said. I mean, I say it jokingly saying black men are stupid, but the thing about it is black men suffer from dear mama syndrome. They look at these women from the eyes of their mama. They believe that abandoning black women is abandoning their mother. And
men are idealists. I've had that conversation before to where because we keep pegging us men as logical. We are logical, but we're also more idealistic than women. The women are far more practical about the decisions they're making. It's us that we basically want to love women. I don't know if Obsidian years back we had the conversation when I was saying men are naturally simps. Men naturally want to love women. Men want to protect women by nature. If you see a woman getting beat up, there's something deep inside that says, let me protect this woman. So yes, men just innately want to do but what's happening is that the laws of nature have fucked up to where they're punishing men for being the good people they are. But men naturally want to fucking be with women and take care of them.
Exactly, Silent. So when you look at Obsidian, Bernard, I'm more direct. Cut the bullshit, especially when people are being disingenuous about what they think. If I believe they believe what they believe, then I'll accept that. Like if I'm talking to somebody, but if I kind of know they're bullshitting, you see how I get animated. Like I said in the chat, I call those folks bad actors. I'd rather somebody stand on the bullshit than come at me with bad faith, because I think you're insulting my intelligence at that point. Now, some people will have the conversation for the sake of the conversation and then get you. I've seen Obsidian do this, get you on some chess and checkmate shit. I tend to not have that kind of patience. Maybe it's my age, but
wait a minute, I'm older than you.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Maybe I'm too young. I haven't developed that patience yet. When I know they're bullshitting me. But my point to you, Silent, is the reason I get you're not saying why you complain about women. I know you're not making an argument, but we do this is because this is the process that each of us use to deprogram these guys. See, if we just say what you're saying absolutely direct, then you're gonna have people that will they will just have that whatever you said will just kick in and they'll just take the contrarian approach.
And them niggas need to be and when we saw 300 and that hole, them niggas need to be kicked into the hole. Listen.
But what happens when they're the majority though?
A lot of motherfuckers, man.
What happens when they're the majority though?
Hey, then listen, you got to start from the ashes, because guess what?
But that's not spoken from a content creator standpoint. That's spoken from somebody. Yeah, like the thing about it is, I'm not going to start naming people, but if you get people that are married and stuff like that, not all people are married. I like to shout out to Black Hulu. We need to convert more of them onto what we're talking about, and you do that by creating a good faith environment. And when you have a good faith conversation, which if they're going to have a bad faith conversation, that becomes very obvious to the audience. Remember, what we do is not for our own self-aggrandizement. We do it for the audience to actually learn. And if you don't give the woman an opportunity in a good faith conversation to either put up or basically reveal who they are, then what happens is it just becomes, oh, well, you niggas are gender warring, so you're both bad. The women are just doing it in response to what you're doing, because that's what they've been socialized to think, even in this fucking space. And that is in this space. So you already know when you take your ass outside this space, they wilding the fuck out. Y'all have gotten a whiff of how crazy that shit could be in the last couple of weeks. This is why, and I'll say this and I'm done. When I make that argument of why don't black women date out, that argument is based on, number one, that black men understand that the best deal you gonna get based on how you are is here. We know that. We're not insecure about that. So if you need to go over there and figure that out, now if you get a kid over there, you're fucked. But if you go over there and you figure that out, fine. But I always ask this, why don't black women ever say, when we're complaining about black women, then maybe black women are not for you? Why don't you go get something else?
because we know the answer to that. The
You
answer
don't
is
even hear that.
All right.
You don't even hear that interculturally. Because and now that you're starting to see the intercultural argument starting to be presented more, you're starting to see rising pushback even from other black men. Not
All
like
right.
anyway.
Right.
So
RBR, RBR. I don't even know why I'm reading RBR. I haven't even read this yet. He says, "A sister is your partner, not your slave." Oh my goodness. Okay, stop using the lie of what she brings to the table. What do you bring to the table? Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you, RBR. All right. See, Iron Addict says, "Oh man has returned. Glad to hear you." Okay, brother. And also, somebody else who sent a super chat that I cannot find.
RBR gonna start have to get taxed more. You ain't say $20 to read this shit.
Yeah. And we closing in on that. Well, we got Chess Charday just joined the panel. Welcome to the show. And I saw the video you sent me. It was real good. I was gonna respond to you about that probably today. But welcome. Yeah, welcome to the show.
Hey, Shardy, I got your email too. Thank you so much. I got your email. I'll respond to it today.
Hey, all good. Good to see you, by the way, Obsidian. Mr. Obsidian.
Yeah, he's back.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me
unofficially.
on.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No doubt. Yeah,
Welcome to the Terradome. Okay.
Yeah, so I just wanted to chime in, real quick. I can say anecdotally in my life and just what I see on a day-to-day basis, where I know the lack of accountability is so thick that it's palpable. And I thought about this a lot, and where do we even go? And I think some of the challenges that I have, even talking to some women that I know on a day-to-day basis, like there's been some who have told me like, okay, I'd like to talk to you because I know you're going to give me the real. And I'm thinking, okay, well then what are other people telling you? Like, why would I not tell you the truth? Like, why would we not have a conversation that's actually based upon the facts, or actually based upon what's going on? And the bigger issue, I think the bigger issue is that there's been such a culture created for women to not to have to face reality, that anytime somebody is faced with accountability, it's almost like an allergic reaction. It's almost like a allergic reaction. And that's not necessarily to make excuses for it. But I do think more often than not, there is such this culture of, oh, it has to be his fault, it has to be their fault, it has to be their fault. And women haven't even been encouraged to take accountability. And that's a huge problem. That is a huge problem. And it's like, I can seriously understand why there is so many men today who are like, if I can't even have an honest conversation with a sister, or just say, hey, like, I don't like this, or you did this wrong, and there's no ability for that person to recognize what's going on internally, you can't build with that person. You really can't.
Right.
So,
No, and I get what you're saying, and it does speak to what Silent would be saying, because we kind of go back and forth on this. Silent will say, look, they all know what's going on. I think it's a percentage of them when it comes to the accountability thing. They've been fed so much delusion through where a lot of them honestly don't even think that they wrong. But then there's a percentage of them, they know exactly what's going on, and a lot of them got platforms, and they saying BS. They know it's BS. They know it don't make any sense. They know it ain't practical.
That's
but
true.
they're gonna stand in it. But
That's
it is
true.
some of it. It is some of them.
You know, and to speak to what Silent was saying, though, I do agree with Silent at the core. 90% of these women, they know what basic right or wrong is. They're not mentally ill. It's just dudes need to believe that there's a reason they're doing this.
Exactly.
Because that justifies dudes being in the delusion. And ultimately it becomes
For me, it depends on what the action is. If you tell me the action, I can put a percentage on it.
Kevin Samuels did a post the other day talking about, and I talked about this before, it was a couple days ago, talking about ladies, at which point should black men just say fuck it and leave? That's the synopsis. I looked at what the men said. I expect what the women are going to say. And although there were some women that were very pragmatic, black women are pragmatic in their comments, most of the men said never. So my argument is, if there's no threat that black men are ever going to move on or do what what Obsidian said, which is turn on that ESPN, why should black women change?
Wait a minute. Are you seriously telling me that to that question, more black men said never.
Well,
than
we know
women?
I was just looking at what the black men. No, more black men saying never than the other black men saying the other shit. So I'm just looking at what the black men said, right? And then when you couple that to that Smurgo post, where we can argue about the nonsense of that, you still have black men talking about pretty much that the kid should never go to the father. That's where black
Yeah, that was
men are.
stupid.
So my question is, these are two different things, remember that thing went 12,000 pages viral. That was uploaded by a sister the second time, 12,000 shares, 6,000 comments. And then we already know what Kevin's stuff did because of his following, right? So those are two separate platforms in which different men, black men said kind of the same thing. Why should black women change? Black women are doing why black women do what they do? Because it works.
But it
more
ain't.
time. Hold on. I'm silent. Hold silent. More times than not. So what they're doing is they're going fishing for the sucker, and they're starting to realize they have to work a little bit harder to silence point, but they still know they're out there. And you got too many dudes that they want to try to protect the bullshit, and that's what we're starting to figure out is the real problem.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, I first of all, I completely agree as far as I think there's a delusion that it's working. I think because to your point, because there's been a lot of governmental support, and because many of us, including me, so many of us black women grew up being told, you want to be strong, you want to be independent, go to college to get a job, go to, make sure you can take care of yourself. So when he leaves you, you do X, Y, and Z. So many of us heard that. And so I think there is this pride that many of black women take in being like, oh, I can pay my bills. Basically, I'm an adult. I mean, looking back to it, I'm like, that's insanity. Like, why are we bragging about just doing basic things like being able to pay bills? But either way.
Yeah, wait, that's the part right there where I say they legitimately got some bad ideas put in their head. It's not just in that, oh, they know they full of shit category. That type of stuff, yeah, they do grow up getting bad ideas put in their head, and they think that's a viable. Real quick.
But then it's rewarded. I think it's rewarded.
I think they grow up thinking that that's a viable life. Live your life, try to make your money, get over 30, and you're just gonna pick a good man off the good man tree at 35 when you're overweight with a couple kids like that. They honestly. I think they honestly be thinking that life can work out.
But I think to your earlier point, I think that's one component of it. But I think one of the things that's really, really going to actually get some people to want some women to wake up, and some never really will, is when the economy continues to get harder. And I know Kevin Samuels has spoken to this. I've heard this a lot more often. And it's like
Silent spoke to it first. Why? We talking about all this winter as if Silent wasn't on Bernard's show last summer telling you there's going to be a lot of homeless fucking women next winter.
All right.
Okay.
All right, Silent.
Remember that opinion?
You remember that point?
Why everybody want to get past that?
Yeah, all right, Silent.
She wasn't here. Silent, calm down. She wasn't here. I get you, Rob. You was here. You was predicting some things, Silent. You was on it. She wasn't here.
Silent is here to represent the chat.
All right, go ahead, Sade.
But to the points that you have, previously spoken of, I think when that delusion of I can do bad all by myself is shattered, which actually, no, you really are doing bad by yourself. I mean, I literally created a video about this, where it's all these women putting this facade on Instagram, on YouTube, talking about luxury bags, luxury vacations, yada yada, and they're living in small 400 square foot apartments, high in debt. A lot of them in debt. A lot of them in between, couch surfing, doing all this different stuff. And it's like, we know as it gets harder and harder, as more of these jobs are going away, I think that's when this whole I don't need a man because I can do strong, I can do bad all by myself, is literally like, you will do bad by yourself if you don't get it together, if you don't actually face the music, because the jobs are going away. We know women are being the most impacted. I heard waitresses are being paid as low as $2.13 an hour. Like, and that is a service sector, hospitality that is.
And these females don't tip. Go ahead.
So, and I think that's the reality. And it's sad because I do look in some of the different spaces where women are talking, and I don't hear them talking about the fact that many women today are actually economically struggling.
Are they in denial? Do you hear denialism?
I see it I see it so high. I see it so high. And another thing to me that has actually been so interesting, and I was alluded to earlier, Bernard, in the video, I was talking about how some of these same women who will complain and say, you know, I've made all this money, therefore I want a good man, but this man wants Becky, or, you know, all these black men, they don't want good money. You know, they complain about the Eurocentric beauty standards. I was actually so shocked when I really did research to try to understand what is a black beauty standard, and I found out that many of these black women would be implicated. That it's harder. That this black beauty standard is actually harder than this Eurocentric beauty standard.
How is it harder? I'm curious.
It's harder because women.
I kind of want to save that because I was thinking about doing some contact with you on that.
Okay. All right.
You're the first person that actually, like, you took Obsidian up on his challenge and went and found out what is an Afrocentric beauty standard, and you went, you know.
Yeah, I saw that.
She did some good research on that and dug up what would actually be considered. And when she went back to Africa with it, and so
all right, which says you're walking dangerously close to, you know, getting a pick me badge. They're gonna make a Facebook group about you.
And in the video,
I consider that an honor, because why would I not want to be picked? I don't understand why that's a bad thing. I'm like, I think all women should be pick-me's. I think all women should be.
Don't ask me what I think pick me really means when these women say it, but I won't send the show.
Go ahead and go there. You said it on my show. I forgot what it was. It was kind of controversial. What did you say?
I said when black women call another black feet. Oh yeah, you want me to?
You can go ahead and say it. It was controversial. Yeah, go ahead.
When black women call another black woman a pick me, it's essentially the same as a white man calling a white woman a nigger lover. Because how dare you actually cooperate with black men and not see them as the evil bastards that they are? And if you actually look at how women say it, I've had dudes come to me saying, oh my God, I cannot unhear that now. Because when they hear it, like the intensity in their voice when they say it, it's very strong. But I'm just saying these women are crazy. But I'm looking forward to that video too. But the thing to understand is, this is how one thing I've observed. Women actually attack other women a lot more forcefully and harshly than they attack other men, because they see you all as breaking code, and they understand if too many women, it's not even about being on the man's side. If you all break for being like an umpire where women start to look at what is right and what is wrong and take the gender out of it, that's going to be a problem because of how obviously unbalanced the scales are.
Fair.
So that's all I'm saying. But I look forward to the video, absolutely. And shout out, you know, yeah.
I think I'm sure I still got the email, Ed, even though, well, I know you switched your email. I'll send the video she did to one of
I'll find
emails.
it.
So you can,
I can drop.
I mean, or just go to her channel. Yeah, you should. Be able to
but one of the but I did want to add this too, though. As far as the government, the you know, like Obsidian said, cuts. I mean, that stuff we're like way past that now. We're not even gonna start with student loan debt that Biden said he was gonna remove, that he hasn't, but he's not, and I don't think he should. Which is also on these people.
Now, did they? I don't mean to interrupt you, Ed, but was the
you kind of have to.
Was the election? Was the eviction rather? Was the eviction moratorium issue decided one way or the other? My understanding, I admit I haven't kept up on topic because I've been so engrossed in keeping up with what's going on in Afghanistan and other things. But my understanding of it was, last time I checked, Biden attempted to essentially block the United States Supreme Court ruling, which ruled in favor of landlords being able to collect back rent. So where is that now? Did anybody know?
I think it's up to the states. I think Biden can't unilaterally, because, you know, at some point Congress has to extend that too, and they're not doing it. So I think they're fucked. You know, it's the landlord's turn to try to collect stuff, and what's going to save folks now is the backlogs of evictions, which will give people artificially more time, because what they're trying to do is let that money disseminate into the states. What they should have did was pay the landlords off. But what they did was essentially put the hook on the landlords, because, you know, the banks ain't stopping to get money. They're getting money from somebody. It's just the landlords. So that money hasn't gotten to where it needs to, and it's a backlog. So it's over. So yeah, right now I think they're in a bad situation. It's eviction time. That's basically, it's eviction time.
So it's going down. So it's going to go down this fall.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's the winner. That's the red wedding they call it. You know, it's yeah. Don't even. Anyway, like it's about to go down. But I don't say that with like happiness or anything. It is what it is. I mean,
We
people say
already
what
knew
time
it. We've
it
been
is.
talking about it.
But like I said, and I'm gonna tell you with these dudes because these dudes are dumb. Y'all, it's a whole bunch of PJ Washington type dudes that y'all want to save a chick. And I'm going to tell you why you shouldn't. Because a lot of these, when people, not women, men and women, when they get in the desperate mode, survival mode, crazy stuff can happen. And y'all are going to let somebody in your house and you're going to get set up. You're going to get robbed. Y'all going to be dumb. Y'all are going to be dumb believing you saving your mama through saving these chicks. And a lot of these chicks are on some off the chain shit. Because this is what I know. I know that the bar has been low. The bar, hold on, I want to get this out. The bar has been lowered so much that if you're a black woman and you have any kind of basic understanding,
You got 2 minutes, Ed, and I'm gonna cut you out.
Hold on, Silent. I don't even need that.
I've been holding, brother. I've been holding.
Hold
I'm
on.
like,
Silent got next. You got next, Silent. Just go ahead. Go ahead and finish. Go ahead, Ed.
If you're a black woman and you have any kind of basic, even if you're not even that attractive, and you have any kind of basic ability to cooperate with a man, they are not going through this. They are not going through this. It's only the women that are on this overwhelming denial as far as what they need to do because they think somebody else is going to come in and fix it. So much so that now what you're starting to see, shout out to Dr. Tia Johnson, is women are starting to create these African kinship networks where they're starting to try to work with each other. And then they try to bring a dude in when they can. Like I'm talking about in different households and stuff like that. So they're all starting to network. That's that evolution of girls going to restaurants and all. That's why I made that joke about women don't tip like that when it comes to other women, So yeah, that's what you're seeing now. And it's just people doing the most rather than going shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line. But it is what it is. It is what it is.
Go ahead, Silent. You got the floor. You got the mic. Now you forgot what you was about to say. Now I already know.
Nah, I got it. Y'all be treating me like I'm the most patient motherfucker alive. I'll be up here, let y'all go back and forth.
Hurry up before you forget.
All right. This is what all this I want a nigga to pay all my bills bullshit is. The women know the writing is on the wall. Okay. They see the shit falling. And so that's what all because the conversation started was the women aren't doing what you're supposed to do. Okay. Then the women were like, well, fuck you, nigga. I'm gonna do what I want to do. Right. Then it started getting cold outside. Then it became, okay, nigga, well, if you pay all my bills, then I'll listen to you. Which she ain't. Hence Dr. Dre and all them. Every single fucking rich, tall motherfucker you see every 5 minutes that the bride is divorcing them. So obviously you having a bunch of money, paying for everything ain't working because the women still leave anyway. So then they pull up the fake negotiation. Okay, well, I'll tell you what. If you want a nice woman, you're going to have to pay me for it. So you pay me for it, I'll be nice. So now men are like, okay, all right, so I'll pay for it. Right? So now the negotiation, instead of saying, no, you're going to be just like everybody else that goes to work and pays their bills and has a light bill and contributes, and you're still going to act like a woman, period. So then the women are like, well, no. I'm just going to go and act like a complete asshole unless you pay 100%. And so now men are negotiating from the rear. That's what I was kind of talking about when you were commenting, oh man. So the Jedi mind trick is like everything in sales, right? If you come in and you start high and work your way down, what they have done is completely worked to completely eliminate black men's spider senses to where if anything you ask for, you got to pay for everything. Okay. So now, because they've convinced you because every single one of you are fat. When 80% of you are fat, then if you ask for anything like, listen, I just want you to be in decent shape, then it becomes, oh my God, you want Instagram models, right? So then that gaslight starts. So then that's where the gaslight starts between if you're not a rich man, you're a broke nigga. So all of this is to keep black men in extremes and nigga dancing to keep you from actually demanding anything that is an actual value. So like you said, Bernard, you're saying, hey, that's a good deal. yeah, you think that's a good deal because you're a black man. And the other group of men would be like, what is this bullshit?
Hold on, wait. Let's make sure we clear, because there's new people in here. When I said a good deal, what was I talking about?
Oh, so we were talking about, my argument was,
you said they got to show up as virgins. They got to show up as virgins to get a traditional man.
Yeah, because 100%. Yeah,
my
100%.
argument. Hold on, my argument. I want to make it clear. My argument was, it's hard to expect virgins in a Western American context. I don't think.
Yes.
No Western men. No Western men. Most Western men aren't expecting that. What I was saying that, yes, if you've worked hard and you've become successful and you want a family, she's supposed to show up. She should show up young, fit. I'm paraphrasing Kevin Samuels on the young, fit, friendly, feminine, in shape, looking good head on her shoulders, and not a fucking trail of babies behind her.
But
if she's had sex before, that's fine. Just no kids and show up in shape and looking good with a decent head on your shoulders and know how to fucking act. That's where I was at with it. But you take it a step further with the virgin thing.
Because if you want 100% of my resources, then you need to bring 100% of who you are. Period. Like, seriously, I don't want to hear this shit about hard. It's hard. It was hard for me to go out here and make 500 grand. All right. That's hard.
The only thing I'm saying is it's hard to find it in this environment. What you are essentially saying, hold on, Silent. What you're essentially saying is, unless you plan on going the Ike route, hold on, real quick. Unless you plan on going the Ike route and going overseas to find it, what you're basically saying is you ain't never having no family.
What I'm saying is most men don't need to be paying 100%.
Well,
I know they ain't virgins, which is why most of you ain't getting 100%. Most of you are gonna have to put something on the light bill. You ain't. If you got 5-6 bodies, it's still too many.
Most of them will have to put something on the light bill. That's literally how it play out nowadays. So that part I agree with you on. I agree with you that the chick showing up late to the party, much later trying to get married or trying to pull some good traditional man off the good traditional man tree, showing up late after she's been thotting it up. No, she don't get to do that. No, she gonna have to work. I'm with you on that. I just in this environment, and we agree on that. I'm just saying in this environment, good luck pulling out a virgin. That's all I'm saying.
If I may,
good luck
picking a virgin. Good luck picking a virgin off the virgin tree. You got about as much good luck. You got a lesser chance of doing that than what they got. Showing up late to the game, 35 with a couple kids by a couple men, and picking a good man off the good man tree. They got a better chance at doing that than you got at picking a virgin off the virgin tree. That's all I'm saying.
Before anyone else chimes in, and we are in 100% agreement. But my argument wasn't about how many virgins there are. That wasn't the argument. My argument was, you're starting from a point is you want a nigga to pay for 100%, which means you need to bring 100%. You need to be at 100. So you need to still have the rapper on you. If you're coming in here talking about 100%, I want to sit on my ass and chill. All right, fine. I will buy that deal, but I want no penis in you before you.
Right.
If you have,
I get it. You're saying what that is actually worth. I get what you're saying.
If she ain't a virgin, she got to pay half. And I'm not knocking you. I'm not knocking that at all.
If I may,
go ahead.
So I was a virgin when I got married, and I completely, encourage all women to go that route. Forget about the financial reasons. Forget about that. I just say for psychological reasons, for spiritual reasons, I think that's personally the way to go. Now, what I don't recommend is that, a woman who is a virgin go and use that as an excuse or use that as a way to be in a high horse. Because I'm like, just because a woman is a virgin doesn't mean that now the world owes her anything, or now that she doesn't have to actually still work to maintain, to have a good attitude, to have a good mentality, to be a nice person. And so I've seen, and most of the times I say I've seen this from women who claim to be born again virgins, right? Because there's a difference between an actual virgin having.
Yeah, there's no such thing as a born again
I
virgin.
was
Go
about to
ahead.
say, ain't no such thing as a born again.
But we'll let you acknowledge it since you got married. The wait is hard, so we'll let you go ahead with it. Go ahead.
By the way, how old were you when you got married?
I'm sorry?
How old were you when you got married?
32.
You was a virgin at 32?
Mhm.
God damn. Like a virgin in real life?
I mean, she said, yeah, not a born again virgin, apparently.
Yeah. Now I would, like I said, and that's a whole other podcast. There are things that I looking back, I would have done differently, but I grew up in the church. But I actually gave my life to God really, really, really early on. So there were certain convictions that I had that I was like, nope, this is my person. I'm doing this personally because of my relationship with God. Nobody owes me anything. I'm not sitting here and saying, oh, I deserve $1 million. Like, that's just the way I wanted to honor God. So that's a whole nother broadcast, right? But either way, I still recommend that route. There are things that I went through because of some different, this bad psychology I had, lack of accountability that I had, that made things a lot harder for me. That had nothing to do with my virginity. It had nothing to do with spirituality. It was just me not knowing how to be accountable. So, like I said, those are the areas where I would tell women, no, don't do this. Don't use God. Don't use God as an excuse, because I see born again virgins now, right? Women who have maybe had a few baby daddies or whatever, and then they become a born again virgin, and then God becomes an excuse for them to not have to work on their mentalities, to not have to work on the psychological trauma, to not have to work on their inability to have a relationship with a man. And I'm like, God isn't here to give you an excuse. You know what I mean? And so I think if a person decides to live a certain way, if they decide to keep themselves sexually pure, whatever, for a certain way, like, that should be done for psychological or emotional reasons versus being a tool to barter to try to get more money out of a person. Me personally, I just don't think that's even healthy. But that's just, like I said, that's just my opinion.
So you said there's women that have kids, and it's one thing to try to dial back the odometer of your body count, but you ain't got no kids with born again virginity. Even though I call cap on that too, but you're saying that they actually have kids. You're saying people that's had kids and try to reset that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's where you start to get into me laughing in your face.
And then that's the main one sometimes where I feel like they do that. They may be celibate for 6 months, and then now it's like, okay, now I deserve this. God's going to give me this. This is that. And they pull out this whole rap sheet. And I'm like, you don't deserve this just because you decided to, abstain for 6 months.
Did you do a video about Creflo? I would being how deep in the church, and I definitely respect that you're in. I would have definitely liked to have seen a video of you commenting on Creflo Dollar, having some comments about Kevin being the bringer of the end times.
Oh God. I don't think I saw that one. But
yeah, no, he actually said it. And he actually mentioned Kevin Samuel's name, so it's not something that I'm alluding to. I may have to send you some information on that so you can get directly to it, because they actually have his sermon on the thing, because he mentioned Kevin at the end, and then you know how you listen to sermons, you know how they tie everything back together. You can be like, oh, he was talking about him the whole time. So anyway, but so that would have been interesting, because the black church is like a whole. People forget how big it actually is as a whole. It's its own ecosystem, completely. It could be its own nation. Yeah. So and shout out to the lead attorney. He said he was going to be on Auburn Preach. So that's going to be interesting. But anyway,
shout out to the lead attorney. That's going to be good.
Yeah, but I mean, I get what Silent's saying. I mean, at the end of the day, I think men are the more fair of the two genders right now. We're the ones, but we got to start but the thing that men got to stop doing, number one, every black female ain't your mama. So stop giving the deference. Your mom is the only one that should get any kind of deference like that, because they're the ones that invested in you. So personally, I think it's disrespectful for black men to look at other women through the eyes of their mom and start to act accordingly, personally. But if you have to start holding the line for what you want. I'm not here to tell people to date out. That's not really what I'm here to do. But the greatest power that a man has is his power of choice. But that is meaningless if he doesn't want to execute it. So when dudes say, well, I've never understood this sexual loyalty that black men think that they're better. Oh, I only have sex with black women. Okay, so does that make you better for black people because you think you do that? Because I know dudes that they've had sex with a whole bunch of different races of women. When it came down to them having kids, they had kids with a black woman. Other groups do that too. They'll have sex with other groups and then they'll turn around and come back and then they understand their genetic debt. But so it's not even about kids. It's really about this sexual loyalty. And that's how you know that's not what's supposed to drive men. That's how women are technically supposed to think. So when people always say everything is
Wait,
in
you
reverse.
saying men shouldn't? Hold on, wait. You saying I'm gonna make sure I understood it right because I was having fun with the chat room. Y'all killing me with all them caps, but but hold on. Are you saying that men shouldn't be thinking in terms of genes when they have kids? Like I like that my children.
No, they should think in genes, but who you have sex with is not necessarily predicated to that. You only need one person.
Exactly.
And other groups of men understand that. They're told there's a difference between the women you play with, and even the women will say that. If you ask these women of other groups, and this is even other cultures in the diaspora, they understand that there's a difference. And see, with black culture and with black men, ADOS black men, we have this thing where we think you're doing something for women because you only as if, well, I don't build, but I only date and sleep with black women. So that's equivalent to building.
Can I cut in?
With you. I got you next, Silent. I'm with you. You shouldn't look at it as a badge of honor. I only have sex with black women. Like when I'm single, I had sex with all different races of women. But
and the reason
I am glad that when I was married. Yeah, I mean, I've had children while I was married. My children are black. I would be mad if my son looked like fucking.
No, I agree with. I agree. Hold on. I agree. Hold on. I want to finish the point. I agree.
Edward, I'm just gonna take over because I got to time before I go. Because damn it, I'm being patient.
Well, like I said, I agree with that, but my only problem,
I like it, Ed, but God damn it, you talked the whole fucking stream. I just sit back here.
I don't even think you've been talking that much. It just you wanted to jump in. You just wanted to jump in.
And like I said, the issue is, I don't know why he always do that.
He wanted to quickly jump in before he forgot. That's what Silent do.
Whatever. But like I said, black men giving away the store like they do, it does low-key contributes to black women's delusions. It really does. Like, we always like to argue what society does in diluting black women. But I think black women deal just as much with what black men in real time, in real life. And they get this reinforcement from other black men, from simping, from buying into the idea that black women are the most harmed of any group, which I'm not here to debate that, but they try to overcompensate it by giving black women deference that they might not give the other groups. The truth is, black men give black women more deference on a lot of shit than we give other groups of women. We don't tolerate this shit from other groups of women like we do from black. And black women don't ever give black men credit for that because they don't even think like that. They actually think the opposite. So low key, what black men do is they actually contribute to a lot of delusions that they talk about. Even when we're talking about this in Red Pill, what do? We always give women excuses for their behavior. Because that was another question I was going to ask. All this shit about what they don't know. If I'm sitting here looking at a woman to be a potential partner, mate, whatever, why should I give a fuck about all the issues she has? If I'm looking for a wife, if I am, I don't care about why you don't meet the standard. You don't meet it, period. That's it. Just like if a man doesn't have a job, I would never tell a woman to give a fuck why. They don't have it. That's it. Yeah, I know that. I let that go because
I would be very interested in knowing what Sade thinks of. I don't know if she was listening earlier, and Keith Silent Lamont isn't on the panel, but he made a really interesting point about this whole deal about paying all the bills and so forth and so forth for the ladies who demand that. He made a really good point. Well, what am I paying for? You know, I'm not paying. You're not a virgin. You don't have very low miles. You know, a lover or two or whatever. You got kids. You got quite a few carousel rides on it. So what do you think, Sade, of the idea? I suggested, in light of what Silent Lamont said, I suggested, well, what if we prorate that? You know, you kind of like deduct. You know what I mean? For X number of carousel rides, you deduct. You know what I mean? A certain amount. And, you know, kids, what do you deduct? You know, what do you think about that?
My personal opinion is that if a woman is coming in out the gate telling you how much money you need to spend upon her, then she's probably not the one for you. If I'm just being honest, like if that is the primary focus, and if she's only willing to date you just because you make a certain amount of money, I don't even know that she would have the kind of character that you would want long term to sustain you. I think
her ass is fat though.
I mean, now with that said, if the person is okay with that, if they're like, okay, look, you want me to make this amount of money, then, you know, if we're looking at this like purely, look, hey, this is a business contract. I'm bringing this amount of money. What are you bringing? Then, yeah, I think at that point it's up to the customer to demand what they want. You know, so like let's say if you're the dude and you're paying and you're buying a product, then you should be able to ask for what you want. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. If that is the premise of the conversation. Now, me personally, I wouldn't go that route. But if a woman who does want to do that, wants to go that route, then I think at that point she should be willing to actually give the customer what they want. I think that's only fair. So if that's okay, look, I'm gonna be bringing $200,000. I want a woman that looks this way. She's this particular height. She's this weight. She's this dress size, whatever. I'm like, that's his preference. That's what he's paying for. So I don't think there's anything in the context of that conversation. I don't see why there's a problem if that's what he wants.
So you're not in favor of the 10-point deduction. You know, like she had, let's say for the sake of argument, she had about 20 carousel rides. Okay, so for every 5 carousel rides, we got to deduct 10 points.
No, I'm saying from a personal, would I personally want to enter that conversation? No, but I'm saying for somebody who's okay, like that standard, as far as that standard, I think that's, yeah, I think that is completely and totally, I think it makes sense in that context.
Mm-hmm.
Do you understand? Like,
what do you think about that?
When I do that, me personally, no. But I'm saying in the conversation of someone saying, okay, I'm going to give you money in exchange for these particular attributes. Okay, I think a person should be able to do that. So if that's the 10-point, as you said earlier, granted. Okay, that makes sense.
What do you think about that?
It depends on it depends on who's driving the conversation. It depends on who's driving the negotiation, who's in the strongest position. If you're dealing with a dude that, let's just call him, I like to use not just high value, but in demand, because you may not hit the high value stuff, but if the women want you, if you have women that are basically competing for you because of the idea of what they want, you represent what they want, you may, it's just as powerful as moving them as a high value man in their minds for this context. So whether you occupy one, like either or of those spaces, then that's a different conversation than if you're a woman and you're, let's say, a virgin, or you're a upgradable 7 to 8 or 8 or 9. And then you got a whole bunch of dudes that you want that are competing for you. Either or has driving power in that. Now, me personally, on your deduction thing, that's not going to work for this purpose. With a lot of these women, with the deductions they have, they will be in the negative.
No, that's
so
fair.
I mean, you got women that are starting to hit 50, 60, women that have 100 body counts. Like, seriously, by the time they're 30.
Yeah, I don't recommend
and that's not abnormal. I mean, think about it. If you
actually, Edward, according to a Griot article, matter of fact, I'll pull it up while I'm talking.
Yeah, if you have a couple of trains, go ahead.
There was a Griot article that was published. Now, to be fair, it's a bit dated, back nearly a decade ago, 2012, summer 2012.
Meaning it's worse, but go ahead.
And it was they were reporting on the results of a Trojan, as in Trojan condoms, charged life survey of 3,000 Americans nationwide. And this was the results among the African Americans is men had on average 38 sex partners in a lifetime compared to 10 among women.
Okay.
That's a lie. That's not true.
Wait, how could men average 38 and women average 10? How is that possible?
Especially when you
80-20, I
understand,
don't
especially
understand
when
that.
you understand the marriage rates.
Yeah.
Like even then, the marriage rate, especially amongst, keep in mind, we're talking about African Americans now, so we can't lean on the stats of the other groups. So we're just talking about us. I mean, and then let's not talk about cheating during marriage. Come on,
Well, it's not that hard to do. If you have 2 million more black women to black men, it's not impossible to pull off.
Only 10 sex partners
on average.
On average,
for every guy to average for the guys to average.
Look at how many
38,
ugly women are walking around here with kids.
That would mean that every guy. Every guy might as well say every guy's a player at that. Like, and I don't.
Oh
I
yeah,
don't see that.
I'm looking at the woman side. There ain't no way it's that low. But you're right on the other side. Yep, you're right on that side too. No, in a lifetime,
it would have to be close.
In a lifetime, I could see that. In a lifetime, if you especially if you want to do an average, because then it's dudes that can hit that to blow up the average. But I don't know about that. Because that looks messed up on both sides. Because there's no way women are, even in 2012, that women are only having 10 on average, only 10. Do you understand how many women will have to not have sex in order to keep that number?
There are black women who are celibate.
And there are black men who just
and there's black men that are 7'1",
right? I agree on both. I agree on both. There are black men that aren't getting anything, and there are black men who are 7-footers. Yes, but yeah.
Yeah, but my point is that's about
Here's a potential problem with the average. Okay,
and celibate doesn't mean you're a virgin. That just means you're not having sex. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean you're not having sex right now. Some women have been celibate for the last 36 hours.
That's that born again virgin shit.
Yeah, them born again virgins. But I mean, okay, let's say you take 5 guys and let's just say Wilt Chamberlain have sex 496 times, and the other 4 guys have sex 1 time. Those 5 guys, if you do the average, the average is 100 sex partners. You see what I'm saying? Like that's why averages can be tricky when you say the average, because okay, it's very possible that it could be a small percentage of guys running up the numbers like that. That's very possible, but I don't know how that. It's difficult to try to figure out.
That's very hard to do, though.
Yeah. Hold on, Bernard. I got a question for Chad. I got a question for Chaz real quick. Quick question.
Go ahead.
Okay. Are you ready? How much money do you got to give the pastor? How much tithes do you got to pay into the church to be considered a born again virgin to get that certificate?
What?
That's a good question. I never knew such thing was possible.
Oh, I mean, it was a joke, but I don't know if she's getting her phone. But the joke,
it's a good question. How's that a good question?
It's a joke. I know there's got to be some kind of underground market. The churches are run, especially the mega churches.
You get the born again virgin.
I'm sorry. You know what? I think sorry, I accidentally hit my microphone. My bad.
No, it was a joke. I was just asking how many, how much tithes do you got to give the pastor or the church in order to be considered a born again virgin?
Yeah, I mean, I personally haven't heard of that market. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if there was some form of underground ministry. There was something that did that. Unfortunately, from what I've seen, just personally, is just different women doing that. Maybe after a failed marriage or after just hitting a point in their life where they're like, what I'm doing isn't working, and then they're like, okay, I want to try this route because I did all the other stuff and the other stuff ain't working for me. So now I'm going to be celibate and God, I'm born again virgin and that whole thing. So I haven't really seen it associated with a dollar amount, except for when it comes to now I want to date a guy who's at least making 6 figures. That's when I see it associated with dollar amount, which to me, like I said, is insanity. But
there's got to be some kind of certification that the high value guy can go to. Creflo. I just done bought Creflo Dollar his second plane with that shit.
Oh my goodness. What I will say, and for some reason this seems to be so controversial, but I think at the end of the day, I think men should just be able to have their preferences. So going back to Obsidian's point, I don't think men should be able to have their preferences and talk about it. And I think that's probably one of the reasons, especially in the era of Kevin Samuels and him going and saying these things, so many women are in an uproar because we're not used to men being like, hey, we actually want a woman that looks this way. I think if a woman wants, a man wants a woman that is a certain complexion, has a certain kind of hair, has a certain color eyes, shape, height, I'm like, that's okay. That we shouldn't create YouTube videos on, oh, this man is a lightist because he likes, this complexion of women, or he's a texturist because he likes women with, 1A hair. I'm like, this okay, he likes someone with 1A hair.
I like that. Not an elitist and a lightist.
Because I'm like, there's always new terms coming up that I have to educate myself on.
Yeah, so colorism, colorism, darkism, featureism, because if you get a dark skinned chick, they can't look like Naomi Campbell. You got to get the nose too. Got to have the features. Like they always, it's that goalpost moving shit, yo.
Well, all it is just sour grapes. These are the women who are the losers in the dating game. They're the losers.
Yeah, they on Damon Johns now. It don't matter if you married a black woman first. He used to count for something if you at least tried with a black woman first. Now, you better watch. Now, if you be Michael Jordan and Damon Johns, they'll jump on you too.
Well, hold on. Yeah, that's you stumbled into a good topic. I think you did some content on this. I didn't do it, but I did see the picture. I mean, I didn't watch your content, and I wasn't going to do no content on it, but I did see the picture. Damon John, he took 2 normal pictures with his wife, and he was praising their marriage and how they blah 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 blah. And there was one picture where he was picking her up, kind of gripping her ass, and it looked like he kind of skanked her out a little bit, but whatever, that's his wife.
She's European, she'll be all right.
But anyway, you did some content on that. Like, give us the cliff notes of the bullet points, I should say.
Well, I can't do a video under 15 minutes. So if you want a short video, O'Shea did a video on it, and I actually responded to that. But the cliff notes of it was
just go ahead and riff off on it. Just go ahead.
Well, the argument O'Shea made was Damon John's right to do what he does, but because he created FUBU, which stands for Us By Us, under the mission statement of it was of a kind of group economic, we need to do it ourselves kind of thing. He kind of betrayed that with who he's with. Doesn't matter. His first wife was black. That's so people have a right to feel what they feel. And if people can feel what they feel for whatever reason, I'm not here to judge that. But my thing is, black consumers, in my opinion, that's a very immature thing to do, because this is why you don't have as many people as you could servicing the black population via creative business ideas and products, because they know they will be attacked over some childish shit like that. Because let's keep it all the way honest. Black men do not apply those same rules to black women. No. We do not attack black women for dating out. The only time you even hear us say something is when they go out of their way to say, well, the white man is better, like, and they're a celebrity. But even then, it's more us murmuring. It ain't us really economically, attacking somebody like that. You can look at Serena Williams, perfect example. You could look at Rihanna as a perfect example. You could pick any black female and see that we don't do that. We don't. But black women, and this is again how you know it's gynocracy. But black women will do that to us. And so as a result, you don't have as many businesses that are catering to the black communities. That's one of many reasons. So I was looking at it from a consumer standpoint, that's very immature. And not on O'Shea, but like as an audience, if you think that that's immature, because you can't tell me that you don't. This is what folks like to believe. They like to believe that you're having this outrage for the community. No, that's a very personal, insecure thing. It really is. Yeah. And people will hide behind that, hide behind the quote unquote community stuff. This is why I say with the ADOS and not ADOS stuff, you see it come out. You saw it come out with the Sha'Carri Richardson and the Jamaican thing, where they want to go team ADOS, even though Sha'Carri Richardson was making us look like a fucking idiot. And you had a group that was behind her protecting the hood culture, when against black excellence. And you see how that resulted. That has not helped her. That has not served her in the medium run. So my point is, as a consumer base, because, the black business base has some criticism too they could take. But him creating a business has nothing to do with who he's with. And I also said, and this is probably the most important thing, that Black women need to start taking that as they need to start taking that as a challenge to be better. The truth is, Damon Johns should have had no shortage of 8s, 9s, or 7 quality Black women that were willing to be with him. Black women should have made it so he would have had no choice, just by how many of high quality, the finest quality women that he would have access to. I ain't talking about women whoring themselves, but I'm talking about if he wanted to remarry. And then look at who his first. I'm not trying to beat up on his first wife, but Obsidian has talked about the homely situation, and he's talked about that with what he makes. So you make 350 million. Shit.
Hold on, wait. It's fairly normal with the started from the bottom. Now we're here, wife. Like that. That's it's fairly normal that they kind of.
But even still, the fact. Well, I'm not even saying all that. My point is the fact he was entrepreneurial minded, and dudes don't be. Black men don't typically just leave just to be leaving. You know, and you see the same thing with Jeezy too, where women got mad about the Jenny Mai situation. At the end of the day, this should be a challenge for Black women to do better. But see, that's not how they're thinking. The way they're thinking is that Black men owe them a blood debt. Because see, when you flip it, they never think the opposite. They never think the opposite.
A blood debt?
Yeah, we owe them a blood debt. We owe them a blood debt, meaning we are not to
That
deal
sounds
with
kind of.
anyone else.
That sounds kind of. I don't even know what to say. There's something up.
Yeah, it's something very witchcraft. Yeah, I said it like I meant it. Black women think Black men owe them a blood debt, and when we operate outside of that, you see how they offer. You are breaking the blood pact. That's how they act. Yes. I mean, when they say I birthed you, I could take you in this way, I could take you. They want to be your mama when they not your mama. I've said this before.
Black women have actually said that?
When Black women say your mama Black, what do you think they're invoking? They're invoking
I have no idea.
They're invoking the powers of your mother, saying I'm your mama too. Because I'm a Black woman. That's what
okay. So isn't that like a borderline incestuous thing happening there?
Yes, and that's why I tell them my mama don't like your ass either. Where do you think I got my shit from? You know, you don't want to ask me. I'm the oldest in my family. I was supposed to have 2 older sisters, so you don't want to know where I come from as far as like even how women feel about women in my family. But but anyway, go ahead, Obsidian.
No, I was going to say that Bernard, tacking back to the Griot article. So
shout out to Chaz too, by the way.
Both you and Ed questioned the numbers and the results of the survey, which I'll post in the chat room again for anybody who wants to see it. I think it's entirely possible for a Black man to get 38 sex partners. That's very easy.
Oh no, it's entirely possible. Wait, hold on. It's entirely possible for a Black man to get 38 sex partners. It's it may not be mathematically possible for the average Black man to have had 38 sex partners, while the average Black woman has had only 10 sex partners.
Yeah, I'm focused on the 10. I'm focused on the 10. The 30, the man side, that's between you and Bernard. The 10 shit is too fucking low.
Well, I mean, it's not that hard to do on the man side now. It's not that hard to do if you're willing to consider, the Black women. There's 2 million more Black women than Black men. If you're willing to consider older, much bigger, much homelier, baby moms. I mean, if you're not really all that discriminating, it can be done.
No, absolutely. I like on the man side, the woman, especially when you look at when it was taken, which is 2012. So the millennials were really kind of just coming in their own. So you're dealing with different generations at that point. So a lot of the social issues, remember the internet was there, but the internet wasn't like with the cell phones and everything like it is now. So a lot of the social issues, a lot of the Tinder, a lot of people not approaching, that's not in the other generations like that. So I get the man side, but I know women are fucking more than that. That's what I'm saying. Especially if you talking about African American women, they're fucking more than 10 bodies. Like when some women could get even back then. And let's be clear.
So let me ask you.
And by the way, even if they in long-term relationships, they cheating.
So let me ask you this: how many? Okay, Ed, just do it this way. in your opinion, what do you think is the lifetime average number of sex partners that a black woman 18 to 50 has had?
I think that varies depending on the age group. Like,
well, you do know older. You do know the freakiest people in America are the older ones.
They may be the freakiest, but that doesn't mean they
Wait,
have.
hold on, wait,
the
how
body
do you
counts.
substantiate that? How do you say that the older ones are the freakier ones?
Statistics Institute
what are they?
Family Studies. They did a study called Who Cheats More, and they found that the larger group who cheats more is not the younger people, it's the older people. Matter of fact, let me pull that up right quick.
I could believe that they cheat more, but they're still cheating from an anchor of an actual relationship versus.
Okay, so I'm looking at it right now. I'm looking at it right now. As a matter of fact, I'm going to post a link in the chat room so everybody can follow what I'm looking at. I'm looking at an infographic from the article, and here the gender cheating gap is wider among adults. Percentage who reported having sex with someone other than their spouse while married. So the largest group of cheaters for both men and women are in their 60s. Well, excuse me, for women, it's between the ages of 60 and 69 at 16%. And for men, it's in their 70s, between 70 and 79 at 26%.
Yeah, that's still in the context of a marriage, though. I'm talking about body counts, though, because that's what you.
But it says right there the number of people that admitted to having sex with someone other than their spouse.
Yeah, I know. That's what Ed is saying. That you're talking about in the context of people who are married. What he's talking about is what Ed was looking for is just overall just body count.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna tell you right now, any female, and ain't even any female that's got like what they call it, something to bring the boys to the yard, like an ass. They even if they face ain't all that, so you could technically be like a 6 or like a 5.
Oh, you mean like a buddy? You mean like a butterface?
Yeah, you gotta be an upgradable 5, and it's just your body, it's probably like a 7, right. Technically, and then you're gonna get sexual access from some nigga, know. So my point is,
need all that.
Yeah, really, you don't. So the reality is, you look at body counts. Women that are even decently attractive, especially if they willing to go, they can have bodies. They got a body count in a couple of hundred, like something like
Obsidian,
it's really
Obsidian, drop that original, the one that said 38% of, I think it said 38% of the average black man has had 38 sex partners, while the average black woman has had 10. Drop that one in the chat again, so I could look at that, because even if you account for it being more black women than black men, I still think those numbers are not mathematically possible.
I mean, it's just, and I mean, whatever. I'm not even trying to dispute that. I'm just saying there's something because really, when you look at when that came out, what I'm thinking about is people post 2012. I'm thinking about what the market is now. So that could be somewhat true or based in truth when that came out, but this 10 years, because that's 10 years ago at this point, it's 9 years ago. The market has shifted so much to like what is acceptable. Was it same-sex marriage not legal back then, or it just got legal? Like you got women that they are coming out of high school with like because I'm gonna say this is why I'm saying this, because before in 2012 you didn't have, the average person didn't have a cell phone while they was in high school, like the phones that are like a smartphone. That was just new with the sidekicks and all of that. So now what you essentially have is high schools and stuff are networked in a way that they never were before. So so everybody is in proximity. And really, if you look in the Instagram and stuff in your own city, a lot of that stuff is networked in a way too, if you know how to like look at it that way. So my point is, the access that these women have to like certain guys is something they would not have had access to. They would have been just limited in their school or their district. Now it's beyond that. It's to wherever they can go. Not even mention Uber and stuff like that. So because of that, the level of bodies that some of these women are racking up is like off the chain. That doesn't mean.
So what do you think it is on average? Okay, 18 to 50. What do you think it is on that in Black America, black women? What do you think it is?
18 to 50?
Yeah. 18
now,
to 50. Right.
I'd probably say like If you tell me between women that are 5 and up, and you eliminate the
Right, we'll
fours and
do 4
downs,
and up. We'll do. How about this? We'll do 4
4 and up.
Yeah.
I'd say like 35. I'd say 35 to 50.
You said 35 to 50. What do you think, Bernard? 18 to 50, average number of sex partners a black woman has had today.
I don't know. I wouldn't put it. The reason I don't put it that high. Well, put it like this.
Well,
I think put it like this. Hold on.
We're not even talking about women fucking women.
I'm sorry, I
We're
couldn't
talking
hear.
about women fucking men.
So it's not 10. Right. We're talking about heterosexual. We're not going to count having sex with other women. We just strictly dickly here, so to speak. Okay. So Bernard, now just so we're clear, Edward says 35 to 50. You, Bernard, said you're not going to go that high. So we got somewhere between 35 to 50. So you have to specify what do you mean by that high? Do you mean 35 high or 50 high?
Listen, top it off at 35.
Ed. Okay, I mean, hold on. My number on that is complicated because I'm trying to take into account there are some lame, not lame. There are some girls who just don't get down that much. There are some girls who are virgins. There are some girls who some outright hoes. There are some girls who have sex but with their boyfriend, and then every now and then they fuck around and when they're not single. Like, it's some women who get in a relationship and don't rack up a whole lot of partners. It's so hard to measure it. But I'll say this. I saw a study one time where it said the average person, when you take all that into account, long-term relationships and all of that, the average person, male and female, both of them were around 7. So I'll just say when Black America, it's probably a little higher. I don't know, 10. So I'll just put it somewhere like that. With black men and black women, the number is going to be close. That's I'll just say that the number is going to be.
So you're discounting the 38 number for black men, but you're holding constant for the 10 number for black women.
Well, I wasn't. Well, inadvertently, even if I would have never heard you cite that survey, I would not have said. I would have still said maybe around 10. But okay. I come to that in a very odd way, and it's predicated on another study that I saw a long time ago, and trying to account for people who just end up in long relationships that don't rack up numbers. They're going to skew it. The people who out getting it in all the time going to skew it, and the people that end up in long-term relationships are going to skew it. That's why it's impossible to come up with a good number. But all right.
So here's so I could just found another factoid here. The average age of swingers is 35 to 50 years old.
Mm-hmm.
I'll post that in the chat room. 35 to 50 on average, swingers are between the ages of 35 and 50. Average age.
Mm-hmm.
What do you guys say about that?
That's believable. I think that makes sense. People getting married. I don't got nothing to say about that. That sounds about right. The average age for swingers is 35 to 50. That sounds about right.
Yeah. Now, to be fair, that's not broken down by race or anything like that. I personally believe, and this is anecdotal, but Prince George's County, that DMV area, and the Atlanta area has sex clubs, and shout out to Miss Santeray. They have that sort of thing. I believe that that percentage is going to be higher, and I believe that the age range mentioned maybe even a bit older for black folks.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Possibly. Yeah. I'm not really sure. I mean, with the swinging, I don't know. I don't think too much about that. I don't know.
Well, I mean, that would track with the IFS study that older Americans in general, we're talking about black people in particular, they're the freakier group than the younger people.
In terms
they have
of
more sex, they have more sex, they cheat more, they have more freakier sex, they do all kinds of
wait, hold on. You didn't prove that they have more sex. You just proved that they cheat more when they're married by a few percentage points.
Yeah. So I got to go back to that. So let me hold on a second here. Yeah.
So I mean,
right.
yeah.
So I don't have that information in front of me right now. So yeah, but it would make sense though that the older you get, the more sex partners you get.
That part is true as well. That's the reason why, you know, everything goes up with older. Like older women are more likely to have STDs, particularly the ones you can't get rid of, like the herpes and all of that. Yeah, older women, they have that at a higher rate than younger women. Why? They've been having sex longer and with more partners. You know,
now you know what?
Not necessarily.
Hold
on, wait, not real quick. Not necessarily more partners last year, but more partners over a lifetime increases the chance that they would have contracted it and can't get rid of it. So yeah, there's that.
And black women do have the highest, for the record, black women do have the highest infection rate for herpes of all American women, just for the record. And they also have a very high infection rate for HIV, to be fair. But did you know that one of the biggest transmitters of STDs in, say, the past 2 to 3 decades has been Viagra?
That doesn't shock me, because a lot of people who grew up in the era where before condoms were even normalized, they were able to get their mojo or their groove back, and now they just out there wilding without the education of it. So I can agree.
So it's a lot of older brothers that's able to still keep it going due to the Pfizerizer.
The Pfizerizer. What?
Yeah. And you'd be surprised who the older guys are having sex with too. It's both older ladies and much younger ladies.
Nah, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised.
They're kind of spreading the blue pill around there.
The blue pill. We be talking about red pill, blue pill.
Just a little blue pill there.
Yeah, being blue pill will get you some action, apparently, if you're being the right kind of blue pill.
Yeah, I mean they're having it with the younger ladies. I'm talking about young chippies, and they're having it with the older ladies too. Ladies you wouldn't suspect, well beyond 50. Well beyond 50. We're talking nearing 60.
Mm-hmm. Yep, absolutely. Oh man. All right. Yeah, I'm trying to read these articles and whatnot. Okay, I'm gonna have to look at these articles a little later. But yeah. And I'm letting out a good stretch. We are 3 hours and 40 minutes in. I'm probably about to wrap this thing up. I don't know if old man got any final closing words of wisdom you want to leave with us as we
fellas, please take care of yourself. When I do come back on the air, I'm going to be talking about this in greater detail, but just to keep it light right now, do take care of yourself, fellas, because all the statistics show that it does get greater later. So take care of yourself.
Right on. And look, absolutely. Look, I'd like to formally thank Obsidian, for coming on the air. I don't know how you feel. I mean, you said you're feeling good today, but that's probably just relatively good compared to how you've been feeling. So I don't know.
Oh yeah, I feel a whole lot better.
Okay, that's good. Still probably took a lot out of you, but
I feel even better if you go over and buy my book. It's on sale everywhere. It's everywhere. When I say everywhere, I just checked last night just out of random. Just let me look myself up. And my book is now available in places like Google Reads and Thrift Books, and there's another spot I can't even remember. Book is on sale everywhere. You can also get a signed autographed copy directly from me. I'll post a link in the chat room, and you can do it that way. Send $35 or more to my Cash App, $Obsidian Radio. Please don't forget to include your who you want me to sign the book to and a mailing address. You can also send you can also send the money to PayPal, www.paypal.me/Obsidian Talk Radio. Sales have been going great. We sold out books a little while back. Plus, they had the supply chain problems with the due to the coronavirus. So, but everything is back up and running again. We're working it all out. So, yeah, feeling great.
All right, right on. Good stuff. But I'd like to thank everybody who came through today, who hit the like button. If you like, share, subscribe, did anything to support the channel in any way, shape, or form. I greatly appreciate you. And with that said, we are out of here. Peace.